Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. Sign in the Shadow Clone at the beginning of Konoha. Chapter 1. Weekend sounds like a happy day. Especially for an office worker, it is a rare leisure time. After sleeping until noon, Hanming stretched his waist and got up from the bed in satisfaction. Walking to the kitchen, he took out a large bottle of iced Coke, and Hanming took a sip from the bottle. Woohoo! The cold air bubbles slide down the throat. This feeling is so refreshing. However, in the next moment, Hanming's eyes darkened, and he completely lost consciousness. Boom! Half asleep and half awake, Hanming was hit on the head and sat up in pain. When he opened his eyes, he saw a whipped man with a swirl-like headband on his head and a long scar on his face. Underworld! Hanming was so frightened that he stepped back quickly. Wasn't I at home just now? How did you get here? Could it be that someone drugged my Coke? Just kidnap me for what? I'm not a rich man either, I'm just an ordinary worker. Hanming couldn't react for a while, his mind was full of doubts. How many times have I told you that you are not allowed to sleep in class? Scarface scolded. Hearing this, Hanming was even more confused. Attend class. Campus life has ended a few years ago, what classes are there? Looking around, he was indeed in the classroom, but every student was dressed in different clothes, and there was even a little girl who looked in the mirror, her hair was dyed pink. What school can be so open? Naruto, why are you still distracted? Graduation exams are due soon, and you are the worst in all of them. Work harder, Scarface said again, with a look of hatred. Kindness, Naruto. Hanming couldn't help frowning. It seemed that the other party was familiar with him, but he had no impression of such a teacher, and his name was Hanming, not Naruto. But the word Naruto is quite familiar, as if I have heard it somewhere. By the way, the protagonist of Naruto is called Uzumaki Naruto. Although he hadn't watched Naruto for several years after going to work, when he thought of Naruto, his sealed childhood memories instantly opened up, and he rushed out. The swirl-shaped headband and the horizontal scar, isn't this just Iruka? Is it possible? Halfway through Hanming's thought, he snatched the mirror from the pink girl's hand, and it was clear at a glance. I saw him in the mirror, wearing orange clothes, his yellow hair was particularly eye-catching, and the three beards on his cheeks were also very distinctive. This is Uzumaki Naruto. What's the situation? Am I not being kidnapped? But crossed. There was an uproar in Hanming's heart, but he couldn't figure out why he traveled through time. He obviously just took a sip of iced Coke, but he didn't do anything else. He tried hard to recall, trying to find an opportunity, recalling the details of drinking Coke, his eyes suddenly brightened. Could it be that I was blown to death? Hanming couldn't help showing a wry smile, a sip of iced Coke actually made woohoo take off. He also flew to the world of Naruto and became Naruto Uzumaki. Good guy, Hanming is direct, good guy, this is too outrageous. Naruto, return the mirror to Sakura quickly, bully the female classmate, go out and stand for punishment. Iruka scolded. Hanming coughed lightly. According to his memory, Naruto is still at the end of the crane. How could he bully Sakura? It's hilarious. After returning the mirror to Sakura, he got up and walked out of the classroom. Leaning his back against the wall, he felt a little apprehensive, more of an unrealistic feeling. When he was a child watching Naruto, he also thought about time traveling, but now that his job is going smoothly, he spends money early in the morning to buy a house, and has long since forgotten about anime. After traveling to this point, he was still quite flustered. Even if he knew a lot about Hokage's plot, he didn't want to come here. When I was a child, I watched it for coolness, and didn't pay attention to the background of the times at all. Now that I think about it, the world of Naruto is very chaotic. If you disagree, you will fight, and if you do not strike hard, you will die. There is no such peaceful life in the city at all. In fact, if he had to choose, he would rather be a laborer come here and ruin his life. It's just that the sky can't help it, and he has to go on the path arranged by the sky for him. Now that I have started a new life, I will have to adapt to this new identity in the future. From now on, I will be Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fists, began to think about the future, and planned the future development route. I'm going to graduate soon, so I should be 12 years old now, and it's also the beginning of Naruto's story. It seems that there are still many opportunities. With modern knowledge, he feels that he can make a big business in Muya village and become a business tycoon of a generation. However, after a little planning, he suddenly woke up and realized that it is impossible to stop practicing. The 9 tails in his body is always a time bomb. If the seal is loose, he will definitely explode and die. In addition, there is Shao organization looking for the tailed beast. If the 9 tails are pulled out, he will surely die. Even in the later stage, when Kage appeared, if he hadn't cooperated with Sasuke to exert the power of the 6 paths, the entire Hokage world would be over, and he would definitely not be spared by then. No matter how you think about it, he is going to die. The only way is to keep getting stronger. But as long as you don't delay your cultivation, it's okay to develop some side jobs. Of course, that's all in the future. Right now, the most important thing for him is to graduate from ninja school. Recalling some fragments of memories, this ninja school graduation was Naruto Uzumaki's first fierce battle, and because of this, he learned one of the few A-level ninjutsu that was listed as a forbidden technique, the multiple shadow clone technique. But he only learned this when Mizuki encouraged him to steal the sealed book, and the most important thing was that Iruka was injured because of it. Although there was no danger, no one died in the end, but if something goes wrong and the butterfly effect is caused, the situation will be unknown. This kind of risk can be avoided as much as possible. He doesn't want to die just after crossing. Without a shadow clone, you can't complete the graduation assessment. If you need a shadow clone, you have to deal with Mizuki. Oh, what should I do? He rubbed his temples, with a melancholy expression on his face. Others fly across woohoo, why don't I have the necessary golden fingers? Is it because I'm so cool? It shouldn't be. Congratulations to the host for remembering this system. The Wanyao system has been successfully activated. Uzumaki Naruto was struggling, and a mechanical electronic sound suddenly came to mind. System. Rao Uzumaki Naruto can't calm down anymore. He also has the golden finger of the necessary system for crossing. If he had known that there was a system, he wouldn't have been so entangled and flustered. However, this system is quite individual, and it will not appear unless called. Man, this is outrageous. But having said that, what kind of system is this Wanyao system? You won't let me go out and sell medicines for points. Or do you say that taking medicine will make you stronger? That's too new. Naruto Uzumaki didn't read it in school before. Less novels, this kind of gold finger is rotten. This system is to take medicine to become stronger. The host thinks it is nothing new, so it can be used without it. Hey, are you naughty? It was the first time for Uzumaki Naruto to see such golden fingers that a dead pig is not afraid of boiling water. But he has no other choice. Just like time travel, he has no choice. Who among normal people would drink Coke to cool off to death? Forget it. Since everyone is here, I can use you. Uzumaki Naruto gave up resistance. Since you are reluctant, why settle for it? If you don't use this system will replace the host. There are so many traversers, and you are not bad. Ding. The Wanyao system is automatically unbound. Don't go. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly panicked, but no matter how frantically he called, the Wanyao system's notification tone never sounded again. The system came and went in a hurry, and flew away after a disagreement. What the hell is this? Originally he had Goldfinger, and he was in a good mood, but now there are only grass mud horses galloping past, which is far from the big picture. Don't bring such fun. It's too deceitful. Uzumaki Naruto wanted to cry but had no tears. There was a system in front of me once, and I didn't cherish it. If God gives me another chance, even if it's an unreasonable sand sculpture system, I will want it. Ding. The sign-in system has been successfully bound. What? Naruto Uzumaki was confused by the system notification sound in his mind, but it really did. Oh my god. Just what is the situation with this sign-in system? He doesn't know much about it yet. He didn't complain too much, for fear that a bad thought would cause the system to be untied at will. What is the sign-in system? Uzumaki Naruto asked inwardly. The sign-in system, as the name suggests, as long as you go to Naruto World to check in, you can get corresponding rewards. You can get rewards by signing in and punching the card, which is too simple, not bad. Uzumaki Naruto immediately smiled, rubbed his hands together and said, System, the rewards are so random, what should I do if I want to have a specific ninjutsu? For example, the technique of multiple shadow clones. If you need specific ninjutsu and other specific rewards, you can ask this system. The check-in location for the multiple shadow clone technique is at Hokage Rock. As a warm reminder, staying at the check-in location for 1 hour is considered a successful check-in. So cool. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes showed a bright light, and all the troubles just now were swept away in an instant. It's just that after he stopped thinking for a while, his stomach started to growl. After groping around, he found Naruto's small frog wallet, and when he opened it, there were only 2 10-yen coins. It's so little, isn't it enough to buy a bottle of water? Naruto Uzumaki couldn't help showing bitterness on his face. He glanced at Iruka, who was teaching in the classroom, and he immediately thought about it. He remembered that Iruka invited Naruto to eat ramen after going to Hokage Rock, so why not go to Hokage Rock now? It is a good way to not only punch in, but also eat food, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Thinking about it, he secretly took a bottle of fire extinguisher and slipped out of the ninja school. After looking around for a week, he found the eye-catching Hokage Rock. Hoo-hoo. Uzumaki Naruto saw that Hokage Rock was very close, but if he really walked over, there was still some distance. When he climbed up the mountain, he was already out of breath. Maybe it's because I haven't mastered this body, and I still can't achieve the feeling of walking like flying. Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fists to feel the change. Indeed, now he can only feel the real feeling of making a fist with all his strength, which is still a little short of fire. But this is already much better than when I was in school just now, and I guess it will take a while to get used to it completely. If it wasn't for carrying you, I wouldn't be so tired. Uzumaki Naruto carried the fire extinguisher to the top of the mountain, opened the valve, and sprayed fiercely at the Hokage Rock below the mountain. In the original book, Naruto graffitied Hokage Rock with paint, attracting Iruka. It's just that he only has 2 10-yuan coins on his body, which is not enough to buy water, so how can he have money to buy paint? Ordinarily, if you really have that money, you might as well eat ramen instead of wasting it on graffiti. A large amount of white powder spewed down, and the entire Hokage Rock suddenly turned into a big face for singing, especially the 4th Hokage, who had a lot of white powder on his face. After doing all this, Naruto Uzumaki lay leisurely on the top of the mountain. There was no panic in my heart, and I even planned to take a nap. He just fell asleep for a while, and he felt something hit him on the head, followed by a thunderous roar. Naruto, look at the good deeds you have done. Iruka-sensei. Uzumaki Naruto opened his eyes in pain, and when he saw Iruka, a bright smile appeared on his face. If you observe carefully, you can also find a hint of cunning in his eyes. You still dare to laugh, painting on the stone statues of Hokage in the past, you will be punished by God, fool. Iruka shouted loudly. I told you to go out and punish you. You skipped class and came here to play pranks, punish you, clean it up. After all, I don't know where Iruka got the ropes and planks, and made a simple lifting platform. Uzumaki Naruto got on the lifting platform and began to wipe the white dry powder on it with a dry cloth. After wiping for a while, a system prompt sounded in his mind. It is detected that the host stays in Hokage Rock for an hour, and the check-in is successful, and the multiple shadow clone technique will be rewarded. As soon as the words fell, Uzumaki Naruto felt a rush of memory rushing into his mind, followed by a gust of warm current rushing into his limbs and bones, as if soaking in a hot spring. He only felt warm all over. When this feeling is over, he has mastered the ninjutsu called the Jutsu of Multiple Shadows, as if the Jutsu of Multiple Shadows was something he was born with. The punch card is successful, and now only the routine Iruka is left. Naruto snickered inwardly, but put on a bitter face, and complained, it's really hateful, I'm exhausted. Iruka, who was sitting on the top of the mountain to supervise, crossed his arms and said, I won't let you go back until I clean it up. Humph. Uzumaki Naruto snorted coldly, and said, it doesn't matter, anyway, I'm going home, and there's no one at home. Hearing this, Iruka's body trembled, and his sharp eyes instantly softened, even a little more guilty, and his tone was no longer scolding, but hesitantly said, Naruto. What's the matter this time? Uzumaki Naruto narrowed his eyes and asked impatiently. How to say? After scratching his ear with his right index finger, Iruka said in a negotiating tone, after you clean those up, I'll treat you to ramen tonight. Yeah, I will work hard. Uzumaki Naruto immediately showed a smile, with a look of success in his eyes. Iruka would invite him to dinner after his prank, mainly because the sentence that there was no one at home made Iruka feel guilty. Although the method was a bit unfair, he didn't think it mattered. Watching the live broadcast in the previous life, there were a lot of miserable ones. His kind of tricks are just small tricks, not as good as those miserable anchors. But having said that, it is really miserable to implement this miserable plan. Climbing the mountain with a fire extinguisher and cleaning up here is time-consuming and laborious. Fortunately, he took the opportunity to check in and learn the technique of multiple shadow clones, and now he can just try his hand at it. Thinking about it, he put down the dry cloth, moved his heart slightly, and his hands moved on their own, as if they had muscle memory, and began to form seals quickly. Cho Shu Chen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin. The technique of multiple shadow clones needs to be completed within 4 seconds, but this ninjutsu is a system reward, and he completed all 8 gestures of seals in just 2 seconds. This is. Iruka was stunned when he saw Naruto Uzumaki forming a seal, and before he could even react, a large amount of white smoke appeared in front of him instantly. Bang, bang, bang. In every puff of white smoke, a whirlpool Naruto slowly walked out. In an instant, a large number of orange figures appeared on the entire mountain. Explain it to me. Uzumaki Naruto hastily released a large number of shadow clones. It's not that the quantity is too large to be controlled, it's not that chakra has been emptied, and it's not that Ninetales will take the opportunity to make trouble, simply because he didn't want to expose this method. Although the technique of multiple shadow clones is only an A-level ninjutsu, it is listed as a forbidden technique, and can only be learned in the sealed book. If it is used now, it will definitely be targeted by the Anbu people, and there will be endless troubles by then. Fortunately, when this technique is performed, a large amount of white smoke will appear, blocking the line of sight. When the smoke and dust faded, there were only 3 clones and his body in place, a total of 4 Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto, when did you learn the technique of shadow clone? Iruka's eyes were full of shock. Uzumaki Naruto chuckled. Master Hokage's special care, I secretly practiced it after I knew how to use it. How about it, is it okay? There is no way, it is a good argument to dump the blame on the 3rd generation. Anyway, Iruka also knows that the 3rd generation has taken good care of him. It's great to be able to separate out 3 clones. I was worried about your graduation assessment, but now you really gave me a big surprise. Iruka showed a gratified smile. Sure enough, as long as you work hard, you can also made it. The shadow clone technique is only a B-level ninjutsu, and many ninjas in Muya village can use it, so there is no need to worry about being suspected. With the help of the 3 avatars, the work efficiency was immediately increased several times, and within a short time, Naruto Uzumaki cleaned up all the dry powder. When the 2 went down the mountain, the sky gradually darkened. The street was brightly lit, and there was an endless stream of pedestrians coming and going, but most of them were ninjas wearing green vests. No matter how Naruto Uzumaki looked at it, he thought it was a group of fools standing and walking. It's really not a curse, it's the obvious meaning, which is similar to the turtle fairy in Dragon Ball. Following behind Iruka, the 2 of them soon came to a small wooden room with 3 walls. There was no door or wall on the front, only 5 big square yellow curtains, on which was written, Yula, in red. Ramen, 4 characters. By the way, there is also a big lantern with, Yula, written on it. Lifting the curtain, there is a long row of tables inside, with a few chairs under it, somewhat similar to a bar counter in a bar. Seeing the real Yule ramen restaurant, countless memories of Naruto eating noodles in the first episode suddenly came to my mind. The first time he came here, Uzumaki Naruto asked Iruka for the same ramen. Not long after, ramen was placed on the table. The aroma of the fragrant and strong smell is very exciting, and it is more than a star and a half better than the aroma of instant noodles. Before he had time to say a word, he, who had been hungry for a long time, picked up the ramen and started to eat it. Just halfway through eating, Iruka started to attack. Naruto, why are you scribbling in that place? You should know what kind of character Hokage-sama is. Iruka asked. Uzumaki Naruto coughed. He couldn't say that he did that on purpose just to get some food. Turning his eyes, he said, of course. To put it simply, the person who inherits the name Hokage is the strongest ninja in the village. Especially the fourth generation. It seems that he is still the hero who defended the village from the demon fox. Iruka was slightly taken aback, puzzled, then why? There's no reason, just to eat. Besides, the fourth generation is my unlucky father in this life. He died as soon as he appeared on the stage, and the old man of the third generation has not informed everyone of my identity, which made me become a hero at the cost of my own sacrifice, but I still have to be regarded as the demon fox is cast aside by everyone. Graffiti Hokage rock for a meal is easy, next time it will be better if you hit Hokage rock. Single quote. Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help complaining in his heart, but the surface was full of sunshine and said, because one day, I will inherit the name of Hokage. Moreover, I will surpass the previous Hokage. So let the people in the village recognize my power. By the way, teacher, I have a request. Another bowl? Iruka asked. No, Uzumaki Naruto waved his hand. Iruka thought about it. You took off the goggles, you don't want me to give you the Konoha forehead, this is not okay, this is the proof that after graduating from school, you have been recognized as a ninja who can handle everything. Wait until tomorrow. Uzumaki Naruto shook his hand, stretched out 5 fingers and said, Teacher Iruka, I mean 1 bowl is not enough, 5 more bowls. What? Iruka opened his mouth wide in shock, with regret on his face. Don't go back on your word, you promised to invite me to eat ramen. You are a teacher, you are a good example, you can't say nothing. Naruto Uzumaki said sincerely. He was tired all day at any rate during the day, and if he didn't eat more, it wouldn't be enough to pay back. What's more, Yale Ramen restaurant is considered to be a popular place. If you stay here for an hour, there may be rewards. In this way, while eating slowly, he waited for the reminder that the check-in was successful. Time passed slowly, and an hour passed quietly. It is detected that the host stays in Yale Ramen restaurant for 1 hour, and the check-in is successful, and the reward is meat, egg, green onion chicken. Kindness, chicken with meat, egg and green onion. Isn't this Chef Ma's signature dish? Uzumaki Naruto thought he could only get ninjutsu rewards. Good guy, he didn't expect to get rewards from other worlds. Meat egg onion chicken, whose real name is meatball shock. When cast, rush forward and hit the number 1 enemy hit. Deals extra damage to enemies within range, knocks them away, and stuns them for 1 second. Along with the system introduction, streams of warm currents emerged from Uzumaki Naruto's body, rushing into his stomach very concentrated as if there was a big melting pot in his stomach. At the same time, a picture of a big fat man charging forward with a wine barrel suddenly appeared in his mind, especially the round belly, full of joy. The screen was played quickly, and this refreshing warmth disappeared. However, he also thought of a more interesting picture. If you perform the technique of multiple shadow clones first, and then use meat, eggs, onions and chickens, the picture will definitely be more impactful than the 10 barrels of LOL clone battle. It seems that I will find time to test this trick in the future. When he regained his senses, he looked at Iruka with a bitter face, and comforted him. Mr. Iruka, don't be so sad, think about it, I only want 4 more bowls, and 1 lost 1 bowl. That's what you earned. 1 bowl, you ate 1 bowl in total, counting the inside and outside, you are eating for nothing. As the saying goes, water flows forever, and Iruka is afraid of eating once, and there will be no chance in the future. Therefore, he asked for 5 more bowls, but in the end it was just 4 more bowls, definitely not because he couldn't eat it. Iruka nodded thoughtfully, and after paying the money, said goodbye to Uzumaki Naruto. It's just that Iruka always felt that something was wrong, and when Naruto Uzumaki walked away, he suddenly became shocked, turned his head and shouted, Naruto, you are an idiot. After a night of nothing, Naruto Uzumaki got up early the next morning and came to school. The graduation assessment was held at 7:30, and he arrived at the school. He thought it was early, but when he arrived at the school, a large number of parents and students had already gathered. Every parent and student looked tense and slightly nervous. Only a few with excellent grades will be a little easier. Among them, the most relaxed one is the black-haired boy sitting in the second to last row by the window in the class. He was fine to stand yesterday, and he hadn't had time to observe it. Now, he saw that Sasuke Uchiha was even more handsome than in the comics, but his expression was a bit stinky, as if someone owed him money. Probably because of the presence of their parents, the female students all restrained a lot, and no one came to Sasuke's side. Seeing this, Naruto Uzumaki walked over and sat down beside Sasuke. Sasuke looked cool and didn't speak. Uzumaki Naruto couldn't find a topic, so he didn't open his mouth. Just as an example, there are still more than 20 minutes left in the exam. Naruto Uzumaki could not speak. After all, Sasuke is only a teenager, so he took the lead and said, "Naruto, there are so many places, why are you sitting next to me? Are you stupid? Take a good look. Which one of them is not accompanied by their parents? I am an orphan, why go there to join in the fun?" Uzumaki Naruto spread his hands. Hearing this, Sasuke's body trembled. Sasuke, who is also an orphan, immediately resonated, a little loneliness flashed in his eyes, and more hatred. If it wasn't for that man, he wouldn't have fallen to this point. "I must kill that man," Sasuke murmured, his tone full of coldness. Cough cough. Uzumaki Naruto coughed lightly, knowing that Sasuke was talking about Itachi. But Itachi was also painstaking, and he didn't know how to persuade him, so he simply stopped talking, lest Sasuke suddenly fell ill. Bored lying on the table, the system prompt sounded suddenly in his mind. It is detected that the host stays in the ninja school for 1 hour, the check-in is successful, and the transformation technique will be rewarded. After the words fell, he felt like a movie had passed through his mind, with countless transformation scenes flashing through his mind. By the end of the scene, he had completely mastered the transformation technique. This is good. Uzumaki Naruto's eyes were bright. Among the ninjutsu in the entire Naruto world, Naruto is most interested in the transformation technique. With this ninjutsu, he can become a variety of anime female characters, and feel the charm of all kinds of beauties. Just when he was dreaming, Iruka walked into the classroom, followed by a white-haired young man in a green vest, who was Mizuki with a full stomach. "Parents, please leave the venue, and the graduation assessment will begin immediately," Iruka said. Susu. Parents left one after another and stood outside the classroom waiting for the results. There are only teachers and students left in the classroom. The content of this graduation assessment is avatar technique, the first one is Uchiha Sasuke. Iruka read from the list. Sasuke got up and walked to the podium, which immediately attracted warm applause from the students. Mr. Iruka asked Sasuke to take the lead. "I am very optimistic about Sasuke. This is Uchiha Sasuke, and only he can be worthy of the first name. Sasuke is so handsome." The cheers were louder than the loudest, and the noise was so loud that people's eardrums hurt. "As for what, isn't it just to play first, a bunch of nympho girls?" He shook his head helplessly. "I started." Sasuke stood at the assessment position under the podium, turned his hands over, and made seals in the order of Wei Si Yin. The moment the seals were completed, there was a bang around him, and white smoke came out, followed by a clone who looks exactly like Sasuke. Iruka nodded in satisfaction, and praised, "Well done, excellent grades, Sasuke, congratulations on your graduation." Seeing this, the female students cheered even more, especially Sakura and Ino shouted the loudest. "Wow, Sasuke can actually have 3 clones, so strong. I worked hard for a long time to barely achieve 2 clones, the gap is too big." As expected of Sasuke, handsome. Sasuke untied his avatar, put his hands in his pockets, and walked back to his seat, his expression still cold. Sasuke made a good start, and other students should follow this as an example and make persistent efforts. The next one is Shikamaru. Iruka continued to read the list. The performance of the following students was uneven, some were able to have 2 clones, some were able to clone 1. Although they were not as good as Sasuke, they all had completed the assessment of the clone technique and graduated smoothly. The whole class appeared one after another, and Naruto Uzumaki also felt a little nervous. His avatar technique is fine, but he hasn't taken the test for a long time, and it's hard to keep calm, but what's more in his heart is anticipation. Just now Sasuke just made the whole class cheer with just 3 avatars. If he made a few more avatars, wouldn't it make these girls fascinated? Thinking of being surrounded by girls, he couldn't help feeling a little excited. But what he never expected was that after all the other students except him had completed the assessment, Iruka put away the list and said with a satisfied and proud expression, "Okay, this graduation assessment has been successfully completed. Congratulations, you will be a real ninja in the future. The road ahead must be very difficult, you must redouble your efforts. The assessment is over. What's happening here? Seeing that Iruka was about to leave the classroom, Sasuke yelled at Naruto, and said with a slightly weird expression, "Why don't you take the test? You went through the back door. You just went through the back door." Uzumaki Naruto gave Sasuke a blank look, got up and said, "Wait, Mr. Iruka, I haven't been assessed yet." Hearing this, the whole class looked at him, and burst out laughing. "If I didn't mention it, I would have forgotten, and there is Naruto. This crane tail is really stupid. The teacher missed it, and even asked for an assessment." But before everyone finished complaining, Iruka signaled to be quiet, and said, "Naruto's avatar is excellent, so he's exempt from the exam." As soon as these words came out, the whole class fell into a deathly silence, and in the next moment, it completely erupted. As good as Sasuke, there is no exemption from the exam. Why is Naruto exempt from the exam? It's not fair. Naruto is the tail of a crane, how could he be excellent at avatar? It's impossible. Mr. Iruka, are you joking? Are you sure that the exempted one is not Sasuke, but Naruto? The whole class was full of doubts, and at this moment, the students were surprisingly united. Even Sasuke, who kept silent all this time, said calmly, "You really went through the back door." Uzumaki Naruto was sitting in the back row, his face gradually turned pale. Unexpectedly, all these people looked at him like this, isn't he just the tail of the crane? As for being questioned like this, at this moment, he can be regarded as experiencing the pain of the original Naruto. Originally, he wanted to hide his strength and not be suspected by others, but now he understood that he had to show his prowess and slap these people in the face, otherwise he would be too aggrieved. He stood up abruptly, and said with a gloomy face, "Mr. Iruka, I don't need to be exempted from the exam, I want to take the exam." As soon as these words came out, the whole class fell silent. Hinata sitting in front of Uzumaki Naruto whispered, "Naruto-kun, I believe in you." Beside her, Inuzuka gave a thumbs up and said, "Naruto, even if you have a backbone, I'm relieved to have you at the bottom." He only had one clone just now, and although he passed the assessment, his grades were considered to be at the bottom. With Naruto playing, he can finally guarantee that he is not the bottom one in the class. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto frowned. "Yeah, I'm not the Naruto I used to be, do you really think I'm still the bottom of the crane?" "Obviously, you've always been the bottom of the class," Inuzuka said. Uzumaki Naruto took a deep breath, forced to suppress the anger in his heart, rolled his eyes, and gradually showed a playful expression. "Okay, since you think I am the tail of the crane, do you dare to make a bet with me?" "What's the bet?" Inuzuka Tooth asked suspiciously. "Just bet on the content of the assessment this time. If I surpass you in avatar, you will give me Akamaru. Do you dare to take it?" Uzumaki Naruto played with taste. As a member of the Inuzuka clan, Inuzuka is inseparable from Ninja Dog in every aspect, and Akamaru is his partner since childhood. How could it be possible to bet on this? But he let out all his big words, and it would be too shameful to go back on his word now. After thinking for a while, he added, "I can bet with you, but you can be exempted from the exam. Teacher Iruka must think that you are better than Sasuke in terms of avatars, so you must use at least 4 avatars to count as you winning, otherwise you will be considered as a loser. If you lose, you have to admit that you are the tail of the crane. Do you dare to take it?" He only had one avatar just now, so he naturally knew the difficulty of avatars. If you want to separate 4 clones, even Sasuke can't do it at the moment, Naruto thinks it's impossible to do it. Hearing this bet, Sasuke on the side didn't speak, but observing carefully, he could still find that Sasuke nodded slightly. Obviously, Sasuke didn't think Naruto's avatar would be stronger than him either. "Okay, I'll take it." Uzumaki Naruto snorted, with a triumphant expression in his eyes, "Now I will show you my true strength." After finishing speaking, he got up and walked slowly to the assessment position under the podium. I saw his hands reversed quickly, and the speed of seal formation alone was far faster than the audience. Not only that, this knot seal is not the simple Wei Si Yin of the avatar technique, but the ugly Shu Chen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin of the shadow avatar technique. The clone technique needs 5 seconds to complete 3 seal gestures, while the shadow clone technique needs 4 seconds to complete 8 seal gestures. The difficulty alone has increased several times. Seeing this scene, not only the students, but even Mizuki on the side showed a shocked expression. Only Iruka had seen it once, and he was relatively calm. In the next moment, a large amount of white smoke appeared in the assessment position, and the sound of bang bang was endless, at least 10. When the smoke and dust faded, the entire podium was covered with Naruto's figure. But it's not over yet. He quickly formed the word "way" with his hands, and then all the Uzumaki Narutos emitted white smoke again, and they all turned into long-haired beautiful girls. Seeing this, the audience fell into a deathly silence. You must know that the avatar technique creates only a phantom, and it is impossible to perform ninjutsu twice. Obviously, this is not an ordinary avatar technique, but a real shadow avatar technique. Especially when more than a dozen figures are separated at one time. What a huge chakra this is. Graduation assessment is basically divided into transformation technique and clone technique. Uzumaki Naruto performed both kinds of ninjutsu at one time, which strongly proves that he is completely qualified to be exempted from the examination. For a moment, everyone was shocked, and the whole class opened their mouths in shock. How can Naruto, who can achieve such precise control, be the tail of the crane? Boom! Seeing the reaction from the audience, Uzumaki Naruto untied the ninjutsu in satisfaction, and said to Iruka, "Mr. Iruka, have I passed the test? Know how to combine ninjutsu with excellent grades, Naruto, congratulations on graduating." Iruka recovered from the shock for a long time. He didn't expect Naruto to be so good, and he was really surprised. "Iruka-sensei, I still have a few words to say." Uzumaki Naruto rolled his eyes and added, "Speak." Iruka gestured. "As a ninja, I have been seeking the true meaning of a ninja since a long time ago." "What is a ninja?" "It's just that I am stupid and can't think of a deeper level. I only know that the ninja's patience requires patience. That's why I endured for several years and didn't ask for flowers and applause. I just hope that I can practice silently and hard. And my achievements today are inseparable from my previous years of hard work." Uzumaki Naruto cleared his throat, and continued, "I think I already have a little understanding of the ninja's patience. Today I show the results, not to show off, but to prove that I am also qualified to step out of the ninja school. I, Uzumaki Naruto, am not the tail of the crane in your eyes." After the words fell, the whole class fell into silence, and everyone felt their faces were burning. Who would have thought that the crane tail in their eyes is not achieved overnight, but a persistent effort? This kind of person with great perseverance has been criticized by them all the time. They ask themselves, their current strength is far inferior to Naruto, so what qualifications do they have to laugh at Naruto? Even Iruka was trembling all over. These years, he was wrong to blame Naruto. Thinking of this, Iruka couldn't help applauding. One person took the lead, and the whole class suddenly burst into warm applause. "Naruto, you have done a good job these years. Thank you for your hard work. I am very proud to be able to teach you such an excellent student. I also apologize for my misunderstanding of you these years," Iruka said with tears. "Naruto, I'm sorry, I wronged you. I didn't expect you to be so good all the time. Well done." The students in the audience also apologized and gave Naruto a thumbs up. Naruto Uzumaki looked at the performance of everyone, and the resentment in his heart disappeared. The passage just now was obviously made up by him, but these words have to be said, and these people's views on him must be reversed. He doesn't want to be the tail of the crane in the hearts of everyone. This feeling is too aggrieved. When the goal was achieved, he showed a smile and said, "Students, there is no need to apologize. Your whipping is also the motivation for my hard work. It is because of you that I can achieve today's achievements. You all have excellent talents, and I believe that you will also contribute silently. A lot of hard work. I hope everyone in our class will become an excellent ninja in the future." Clap, clap, clap. There was warm applause from the audience. Everyone was full of hope, and had better expectations for becoming a ninja. Seeing this, Iruka nodded in satisfaction, and he didn't need to say much now. From the unity and criticism just now, to the current unity, yearning to become an excellent ninja, simply because of Naruto's words. Iruka is now more and more optimistic about Naruto. he can't help but think of the conversation at the ramen shop last night. In his opinion, maybe Naruto will really become Hokage. However, at the moment when the whole class was in high spirits, Uzumaki Naruto coughed lightly. I won this bet, don't you think you should give me Akamaru? Ah, this. Inuzuka Fang froze in place, opened his mouth for a long time, but didn't say a word. Naruto's speech just now also made him feel guilty, knowing that he had underestimated Naruto these years. However, he lost the bet, and his Akamaru was about to be given to Naruto, which made him entangled. If you don't give it, you will break the appointment, but if you give it, he will have no face to stay at Inuzuka's house, and the hurdle in his heart can't get over it. I haven't eaten dog meat for a long time, I'm so hungry. Naruto Uzumaki licked his lips, and strode towards Inuzuka. Hearing this, Inuzuka's face turned pale instantly, and he was unwilling to just give it to him, not to mention that Akamaru was going to be eaten. He took a deep breath. Without any more hesitation, he stood up abruptly and threw himself in front of Naruto, the standard Dogeza. Naruto, I was wrong, I shouldn't underestimate you. But Akamaru is my good partner, I can't give it to you. Can you change another request? Inuzuka Fang blushed. Saying these words is already a missed appointment, but for Akamaru, everything is worth it. Seeing this, Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback. Unexpectedly, Inuzuka was quite reliable, kneeling down for Akamaru, which changed his view of Inuzuka. Okay, we're all classmates, there's no need to make such a big gift, get up quickly. I don't want Akamaru, but you want to provide me with food for a month, how about it? Uzumaki Naruto initially just wanted to make Inuzuka suffer, but now he has achieved his goal, and there is no need to make an ugly scene. Besides, to him, 1 month's food is much more important than Akamaru. No problem at all, thank you so much, Naruto. Inuzuka got up and gave Naruto a big hug. The eyes of the whole class have been focused on this side. Seeing that the two are peaceful, they got up and left the classroom to report the good news to their parents. Soon, the lively class became deserted, leaving only Naruto and Sasuke. I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. I underestimated you before. You were really strong, Sasuke said first. I thought you didn't know how to praise people. Naruto Uzumaki smiled. I praised me for you. Let's go, I'll treat you, let's have a meal together. Why? Sasuke asked puzzled. I see that when other people graduate, their parents take them to have a big meal. Why are you two orphans? Let's get together to keep each other warm. Uzumaki Naruto spread his hands. Boring. Sasuke was silent for a while, and finally he snorted coldly, put his hands in his pockets and walked away coolly. This arrogant. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head helplessly, turned his head and prepared to go home. But before he left the classroom door, a white-haired young man flashed in. Kindness. Mizuki. What is he here for? Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help frowning. He knew that Mizuki had a bad stomach, and now he didn't need the shadow clone technique, and there was no need to get involved with such a dangerous guy. He missed his body and prepared to leave the classroom. Boom. Mizuki reached out to close the classroom door, and said with a serious face, Naruto, don't leave, I have something to tell you. Ha, is this forcibly not letting me go? Uzumaki Naruto was not angry in his heart, but he still showed doubts on the surface and said, Mr. Mizuki, what do you want? Naruto, I am happy for you that your hard work has brought about today's results, but hard work is not enough for everything. Mizuki said in a deep voice. Really? Ask Mr. Mizuki for advice. Uzumaki Naruto replied. Now there are only the two of them in the classroom, so at this moment, we can only follow Mizuki's words and see what Mizuki is up to. Mizuki pondered for a long time before revealing a difficult expression, and said in a low voice, what I'm going to tell you next, don't spread it out. A big event happened 12 years ago, and it was ordered not to be said by the 3 generations of adults. It was about you. In fact, you feel that others are looking at you coldly, not because of your illusion, but because you are the 9-tailed demon fox who made trouble for Muya village 12 years ago. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto was speechless. He thought that Mizuki would guide him slowly because of emotion and reason, but he didn't expect to speak out in such a hurry. It seemed that Mizuki was forced to have no choice. If he didn't directly explain the truth, he was worried that he would not on set. However, Mizuki would inevitably mention the hidden place of the sealed book after he got on the trap. Naruto was also a little moved by this hidden place, and couldn't help asking the system, "What rewards will I get for signing in at the hidden place of the sealed book?" Quote, "As long as the reward is good, he will take the risk once, if not, he will pretend to be confused and leave. Successfully sign into the hidden place of the sealed book, reward the power of 9 tails and the servant contract." There are actually 2 rewards, including the power of 9 tails. What kind of fairy reward is this? Although I don't know what the servant contract is, the power of the 9 tails alone is enough to make Naruto's heart beat. Without hesitation, he immediately possessed himself as a showman, showing a horrified expression. "I'm actually a 9-tailed demon fox. I said why the people in the village don't want to see me, and this is the reason." Seeing Naruto taking the bait, Mizuki's eyes flashed with joy, and he continued to say in a deep voice, "I can say this because." Before he finished speaking, Uzumaki Naruto added, "It must be because Mizuki-sensei loves me and thinks I'm pitiful, so what should I do?" "I listen to Mizuki-sensei." Mizuki nodded in satisfaction. "It's good that you can understand my painstaking efforts, I think." Uzumaki Naruto continued to interrupt. "Sensei Mizuki told me this now, I must think that I have not worked hard enough. Indeed, without the support of powerful ninjutsu, it is difficult for me to advance an inch. My lord knows that I am a 9-tailed demon fox, and it is even more difficult for me to obtain it. Powerful ninjutsu may be wiped out one day in the future. Since Mr. Mizuki told me the truth, do you want to teach me powerful ninjutsu?" Mizuki's eyes lit up. "Naruto, I can't see that you are very smart. You can see through it. Although I don't have powerful ninjutsu, I know the location of the sealed book. There are many powerful ninjutsu in the sealed book." Uzumaki Naruto was even more excited and said, "Mr. Mizuki, as long as you tell me the location, I will steal the sealed book, and I will honor it to you first. Naruto has a heart, and I'm not asking for anything in return for telling you this, but you can share it with me, which shows that you are very sincere and know how to repay your kindness. Then, I will hand over this map that records the sealed book. Here it is, you can study it carefully and act at night." Mizuki took out the map from his pocket and handed it to Naruto. He originally wanted to kill the donkey, but Naruto's intelligence and obedience were far beyond his imagination. After stealing the sealed book, he left Muya village with Naruto. It's just that Mizuki never imagined that Naruto had already seen through his tricks. The reason why Naruto cooperated so much was because he wanted to sign in at the sealed place. Not only that, he is already thinking about how to blame Mizuki for you. This wave is a trick. As night fell, a figure shuttled through the forest. It only took Naruto Uzumaki a short time to figure out the map, but it was too eye-catching during the day, and night was a good time to act. Not long after, he stopped in front of a cabin in the forest. This is where the sealed book is stored. Uzumaki Naruto compared the map, and after confirming that it was correct, he opened the door and entered the cabin. There is only a round wooden table in the cabin, and a huge scroll is placed on it. This is the sealed book. He picked up the scroll and spread it out, and the first ninjutsu was the multiple shadow clone technique. It's just that when he opened more, he was surprised to find that all the contents were blank, and there was only one ninjutsu in the entire sealed book. I've been tricked. Naruto Uzumaki simply thought about it and understood the whole story. The Book of Seals contains important taboo ninjutsu. How could it not be strictly guarded? Even if it is only placed in a small wooden house, there must be a seal covering the outside, and at the very least there must be a door bolt. The door is not locked, and it is arranged so clearly that it is obvious that the old man of the 3rd generation has already noticed that something is wrong with Mizuki, so he arranged it like this, and put a fake book here. Come to think of it, the current 3rd generation is spying on his whereabouts with a crystal ball. What a calculating old fox. Forget it, I'm just here to sign in and wait for the result. Naruto Uzumaki simply closed the sealed book, lay cross-legged on the ground, and waited for the reward for successful check in an hour later. However, only half an hour later, a figure flashed in front of him. "Hey, Naruto, I finally found you." Uruka scolded profusely with sweat. "Teacher Uruka." Uzumaki Naruto was slightly startled. "Good guy, this came too fast, did you install positioning on him?" Uruka said with a serious expression. Naruto, why did you come to steal the sealed book? Is this the sealed book? Uzumaki Naruto pretended to be confused. Don't pretend, if you didn't come to steal the sealed book, why did you appear here? Uruka frowned, I don't want you to lie. I came here only because of Mr. Mizuki, he asked me to come. Uzumaki Naruto said with a confused expression. As he spoke, he opened the scroll and said with joy, this is the technique of multiple shadow clones, much better than my shadow clone. Why is the back blank? Blank, fake. Uruka was slightly stunned. Wait, you said Mizuki asked you to come. Yeah, I just arrived here, and you came before I gave the scroll to Mr. Mizuki. By the way, why did you come so fast? It took me a long time to find this place. Uzumaki Naruto said. You just arrived here, but Mizuki told me an hour ago that you stole the sealed book. Uruka frowned. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly showed a puzzled look. This is impossible, what is going on? Uruka fell into deep thought, and after a while, he came up with a conclusion. Naruto, we were all fooled. Mizuki informed Hokage-sama that you stole the sealed book, and now the ninjas in the whole village are looking for you. I think it should be Mizuki who wants to spread fake news and then get rid of you. At that time, he can take the sealed book as his own. Hearing this, Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. He induced him to speak. Fortunately, Uruka was smart and thought of the whole story so quickly. In this way, he doesn't need to bear the name of stealing, so he can sign in here with confidence. Thinking of this, Naruto showed a look of resentment. Mr. Mizuki is so bad, but why did he frame me? Uruka explained. The Book of Seals recorded forbidden ninjutsu and was sealed, which is a dangerous thing. Mizuki wanted to get the forbidden ninjutsu in it. Fortunately, you were just deceived, not his accomplice. Let's go, you and I will go to see Hokage-sama, tell him the truth, and then arrest Mizuki. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto waved his hands again and again, he hasn't finished signing in yet. Turning his eyes, he said angrily, Mr. Uruka, Mr. Mizuki framed me so much. I want to personally bring him to justice. Why don't you catch him with me, otherwise Mr. Mizuki may run away. It's true, but your strength is not enough, you wait for me here, I will go out to find his whereabouts. Uruka thought. Okay, Uzumaki Naruto nodded, this suggestion was exactly what he wanted. He must sign in at the wooden house at this moment, and it is impossible to go out. However, as soon as the words fell, Mizuki's voice came from outside the cabin. I didn't expect you to find it here. I took the initiative to deliver it to the door. Uruka narrowed his eyes slightly, opened the wooden door, and saw Mizuki standing on the top of the tree. Without saying a word, Uruka took out the kunai and rushed to the treetops. Uruka, you. Mizuki's expression changed, and he jumped off the treetop to avoid Uruka's attack. It seems that you already know the truth, so I can't keep you alive. Mizuki's expression became extremely gloomy in an instant. He pulled out the Fuma shuriken behind him, and slammed it at Uruka. Uruka raised kunai to block in front of him, but he was already knocked away a long way. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Mizuki rushed into the cabin and went straight to the sealed book. Naruto, give me the scroll. Give it to you. Why do you want to give it to you? Uzumaki Naruto asked back. Mizuki was slightly stunned, and asked in confusion, Naruto, what do you mean? Do you want to take it for yourself? No, I want to bring you to justice with Uruka-sensei, who let you frame me. Uzumaki Naruto said seriously. No matter what ecstasy soup Uruka gave you, don't forget your identity. You are a nine-tailed demon fox. How could he forgive you when you not only destroyed the village but also killed Uruka's parents? Just learn to with the ninjutsu on the scroll, you can do whatever you want. You can kill the villagers who have been deceiving and looking down on you at will. Mizuki roared, reaching out to snatch the scroll from Naruto's hand. Mizuki, shut up. Uruka rushed in from the door, throwing several shurikens at Mizuki. Naruto, don't believe Mizuki's words. You have worked hard, grown up to where you are now, and know how to think about others. You are not a cruel and ruthless demon fox. You are a student I recognize. You fool, it seems that we can't deal with you in the end, so go die now. Mizuki's face was extremely gloomy, and he took out a large shuriken and shot at Uruka vigorously. Uruka couldn't dodge in time, and was hit by the shuriken immediately, and blood spattered out. Don't shoot at Iruka-sensei. Uzumaki Naruto stood up suddenly, and in an instant, blood-red flames burst out from his whole body. Just now, a system notification sounded in his mind. It is detected that the host stays in the hidden place of the Book of Seals for an hour, and the check-in is successful, and the power of 9 tails and the servant contract will be rewarded. Following the system prompt, his stomach was instantly like a melting pot, and countless forces swept into his whole body. This was a powerful feeling that Naruto had never experienced. Even if it's not for Iruka at this moment, he still wants to release it to his heart's content, and Mizuki is the best target. Mizuki, the scum who framed me, go to hell. Naruto Uzumaki sealed quickly, this time he didn't control it. Anyway, I also saw the content of the sealed book, and it is absolutely reasonable to use the technique of multiple shadow clones. The most important thing is that now he has mastered the power of 9 tails, which is equivalent to being able to use 9 tails chakra at will. Even if he splits out many clones at one time, it will not burden him. Bang bang bang. White smoke kept coming out, and in an instant, the entire cabin was burst. There are thousands of Naruto figures as far as the eye can see, and the scene is extremely spectacular. Seeing this scene, Iruka was shocked and didn't even know what to say for a while. As for Mizuki, he trembled with fright, his face full of horror. Naruto, What are you? If you didn't instigate me, how could I come here to bear the notoriety of stealing things? Uzumaki Naruto said. Mizuki waved his hands repeatedly and said, I'm thinking about it for you, do you really not care that you are a demon fox? Uzumaki Naruto shook his head, fox? You mean this? As he spoke, he took a deep breath, and the blood-red flames burning all over his body became more vigorous, and even the beard on his face became more ferocious, especially his pupils, which were even more scarlet. Demon fox! Mizuki screamed uncontrollably, backed away in fright, trying to escape. But when he came back to his senses, he was already surrounded by Naruto, who had initially turned into a tailed beast. The chakra full of violence is extremely aggressive, and before Naruto can cast it, Mizuki has already started to be burned. What kind of fox? It's just my strength. Uzumaki Naruto said firmly. Although I don't know what happened 12 years ago, but I was just 12 years old. What did everything before have anything to do with me? Don't force your ideas on me. The villagers hate me, but they don't understand me. Teacher Iruka agrees with me now, which is a good start. In the future, more people will gradually recognize me. From the beginning to the end, I am not the fox in your mouth. I just Uzumaki Naruto of Konoha village. Those words made Iruka's expression agitated. He couldn't help but think of what the third generation said to him during the day. Iruka, Naruto has never felt the love of his parents, and the villagers also respect him because of that incident. So if he wants to attract others' attention, he can only play a prank no matter what form he uses. He wants others to recognize his existence value. Although he is strong, it is Naruto himself who suffers in the end. Master Hokage, you were wrong. Naruto is no longer a prankster, but a Konoha ninja I recognize. Iruka clenched his fists and couldn't help saying, in my opinion, Mizuki's betrayal the guy in the village is not worthy of recognition. He is more terrifying than the demon fox. Naruto, come on, kill Mizuki. Yes, Iruka-sensei. Naruto Uzumaki responded, and rushed towards Mizuki with all his body, hitting Mizuki heavily with every punch and every kick. Thousands of Naruto clones, each only attacked once. Mizuki also suffered thousands of attacks. After a round of attacks, Mizuki didn't even have the strength to scream, and fell to the ground and fell into a coma. Seeing this, Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head and smiled. It seems to be overdone. Mr. Iruka, are you okay? He quickly walked in front of Iruka and helped him up. Iruka waved his hand and said, it's just a scratch, it's nothing serious, you did a good job this time. He leaned against the big tree and looked up at the night sky, recalling, actually, we are all the same. I have no parents since I was a child. I can understand your feelings. No one will praise you, and no one will approve you. In order to get others' attention, you can only do various things. It's silly, but it hurts to feel this way. Naruto, I really didn't expect you to work so hard and think of so many things. I misunderstood you before. If I found out earlier, I wouldn't have made you lonely and miserable these years. From now on, no matter whether others recognize you or not, you are my most recognized student. Thank you, Iruka-sensei. Uzumaki Naruto nodded heavily, but he was relieved in his heart. I said so many loyal words, not only for Iruka, but also for the 3 generations who have been peeping with crystal balls. Now that Iruka is talking about this part, I believe the 3rd generation will also listen to it. However, his suspended heart was only half dropped, and there was one more thing that he didn't know if it was finished or not. The shadow clone will only bring memory after returning to the main body. Now, what he is most worried about is the shadow clone that has been dispatched long ago to do other check-in tasks. After having the sign-in system, he has been thinking about the ruins of Uchiha. During the day, he specifically asked the system, as long as he signed in at the Uchiha ruins, he could get Sharingan. As one of the 3 pupil arts, Sharingan, Uzumaki Naruto has long wanted it. It's just that there are ninjas guarding the Uchiha ruins all the time, so it's absolutely impossible for him to sneak in. This time he came to the sealed place to sign in, he was not unprepared, he knew the plot in advance, and he also expected that there would be no mistakes on Mizuki's side. Stealing the sealed book will inevitably attract a large number of ninjas to dispatch, and it will be even more difficult to find out if they do some other small tricks at this time. Taking advantage of the chaos, it is a good idea to send a shadow clone to the Uchiha ruins to sign in and check in. The only thing that worries Naruto is that the shadow avatar performs the check-in task at the same time as he goes to the sealed place. It is supposed to complete the check-in task together. Why hasn't he received the system prompt until now? Meanwhile, Uchiha ruins. It is said to be a ruin, but in fact the building is still in good condition, but people are not allowed to live here, and even Sasuke has been arranged to live in other places, so it is not a big deal to call it a ruin. It's finally time to sign in. The shadow clone of Naruto Uzumaki lay in an empty room, quietly waiting for the check-in to be successful. The plan was perfect, but because he didn't know where Uchiha's old site was, he wasted a lot of time on the road. But now there are still 10 minutes before the check-in is successful, and it doesn't hurt. I can use the power of the 9 tails. It seems that the main body has clocked in successfully, and I have to hurry up. Feeling the raging chakra in his body, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help showing joy. Just the next moment, a hoarse magnetic voice came from outside the room. Who is in the room? Come out. I just let out a little snort. Why did it attract people? Uzumaki Naruto was upset, but he didn't respond. Anyway, there are only a few minutes left to sign in. Just pretend to be dead and procrastinate, and when the check-in is successful, the shadow clone will be released. However, what he didn't expect was that the other party didn't play cards according to the routine, and without the slightest temptation, a black shadow rushed in. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a snake. It is human nature to be afraid of snakes, and Naruto is no exception. He screamed instinctively, and subconsciously condensed the 9 tails chakra to protect himself and attack the snake. Boom! The violent blood-red chakra instantly split the snake in 2, but immediately after, the snake disappeared into white smoke with a bang. A ninja who can use snakes. Before Uzumaki Naruto could think about it, the door was pushed open, and he saw the other party clearly by the moonlight. This is a pale-skinned black-haired man with golden vertical pupils, purple eye shadow extending to the nose, and blue jade-shaped earrings. You are Orochimaru. With so many characteristics, Uzumaki Naruto can only think of one person at the moment, Oshimaru. It's just why Orochimaru appeared in this place at this time. Logically speaking, after Orochimaru left the Akatsuki organization, he should focus on developing Otonin village at this moment. Could it be that he went to the wrong set? You know me. Interesting. Orochimaru licked his lips and looked at Naruto with interest. Uzumaki Naruto only felt that he was being targeted by a poisonous snake, and couldn't help but fight a cold war. The next moment, he stepped on his foot and rushed out of the house through the window. Now there are only a few minutes left to check in. As long as the check-in is successful, he can release the shadow clone, and there is no need to start a conflict with Dashawan. This guy is a cannibal. But before he ran far, a black shadow flashed in front of him. It was Orochimaru with a calm face. It's really haunting. Uzumaki Naruto cursed inwardly. His taijutsu is so hip-stretching, it is impossible to get rid of Orochimaru. Why are you chasing me? Uzumaki Naruto simply gave up and ran away. Dashawan said with great interest, I want to know why you know me and why you appear here. Who are you? Hearing this, Naruto Uzumaki had a preliminary judgment in his mind. Orochimaru didn't come here to look for him on purpose, it was simply because he made a noise that caught Orochimaru's attention. Then the purpose of Orochimaru's coming here is very obvious. It is clear that he wants to find Uchiha's body and conduct research. But after all, Orochimaru's bamboo basket fetched water in vain. After a few years, even if Uchiha had remains, they would have rotted away, not to mention that these remains had long been collected by the group to gouge out their eyes. Wait, such a simple question, it is impossible for Orochimaru to fail to think of it. What is the reason? He racked his brains and suddenly thought of an important link. Orochimaru has maintained a relationship of interest with Danzo during the period of rebellion. For example, the curse seal on Red Bean, the Mewtwo on Yamato, and the Sharingan on Danzo are all very likely to be cooperation projects between Danzo and Orochimaru. Now Orochimaru can enter the Uchiha ruins silently, most likely with the secret help of Danzo. If the facts are the same as what he speculated, then if what happened here today is reported by Orochimaru and passed to Danzo's ears, Anbu will never spare him lightly. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help but get chills down his back. Right now, it is meaningless to delay time by escaping and pretending to be stupid. Orochimaru must be sealed up, and the most important thing is not to leak this matter. After making up his mind, he arched his body and said, Oshimaru, it's very simple to know my purpose, you must promise me that I will not reveal that I am here today. Why should I promise you? Orochimaru chuckled. Uzumaki Naruto frowned and said, if you don't agree, at worst I won't live in Konoha village in the future, and I will tell the third generation about your appearance here, and you will never want to set foot in Konoha again. The old fox of the third generation, as long as he knows the movement of Orochimaru, he can definitely guess that Orochimaru will take action against Konoha in the future. At that time, Orochimaru's plan to invade Konoha will also be aborted. Are you threatening me? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly. Uzumaki Naruto snorted coldly, so what if I threaten you? If you don't let me have a good time, you can never get out of here. Is it? A smile appeared on the corner of Dashuin's mouth, and in the next moment, his figure suddenly disappeared from the spot. When it reappeared, it was already behind Naruto. Long shadow snake limbs. Orochimaru let out a low snort, several white snakes popped out of his cuffs, and bit Naruto with their bloody mouths wide open. Uzumaki Naruto's expression changed, he didn't expect Orochimaru to make a move if there was a disagreement. Logically speaking, with Orochimaru's disposition, negotiations will inevitably take place. Now that he was caught by surprise, it must be because he was a child that he wanted to subdue him quickly. It's a pity that Orochimaru made a wrong calculation after all. Uzumaki Naruto is no longer the crane tail in the original book, but a terrifying existence with the power of 9 tails. Wow, I saw Naruto Uzumaki's body agitated, and a dark red flame was ignited instantly, and 4 tails appeared behind him, which were half-tailed beasts. The tail, like a whip, was pulled out suddenly, and with the sound of paw 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 paw, it smashed all the white snakes into pieces. You're the 9 tails kid, Uzumaki Naruto. Orochimaru naturally recognized this chakra full of evil thoughts and violence, and the red vertical eyes of the demon fox. After 12 years, have you merged with 9 tails chakra? It's really surprising. Orochimaru crawled on the ground, opened its bloody mouth, and immediately countless gray snakes gushed out of it, like a tidal wave, and rushed towards Naruto. In response to this, the 4 tails behind Uzumaki Naruto gathered in an instant, turning into a giant red tail, and then slammed into Snake Tide. Boom! A heavy whip was slammed down, and the tide of snakes turned into white smoke with a bang bang bang, and disappeared completely in the blink of an eye. It's interesting. Orochimaru looked at Naruto with great interest, and his neck suddenly stretched several meters. At the same time, a snake's head popped out of his mouth, and a long sword popped out of the snake's mouth, piercing Naruto's heart precisely. Ding! The tip of the sword pierced straight, but it didn't even pierce the dark red clothes, instead it made a sound of gold and stone. How is it possible that my grass pheasant sword can't break through your defense? Orochimaru's expression changed. Uzumaki Naruto showed a cruel smile. there are things that surprise you even more. In the original book, Naruto's half-tailed animal Four Tails can fight back and forth with Orochimaru, not to mention that he now has the complete power of 9 tails. Orochimaru, not his opponent. Hey, Uzumaki Naruto let out a low cry, and the dark red on his body changed drastically, turning into an orange coat, covering his whole body. This is the full power of the 9 tails. Endless chakra flowed into his limbs and bones. At this moment, he only felt full of strength, and the 9 tails behind him were even more commanding. With a dodge, he appeared behind Orochimaru. In the next moment, the 8 tails rushed forward, out, and instantly bound Orochimaru. The remaining tail evoked the white chakra of the yang attribute and the black chakra of the yin attribute. According to the ratio of 2:8 of yin and yang, it was strongly compressed, and finally turned into a super dense purple ball. It is the mystery of the tailed beast Jade. Sensing the energy fluctuations of tailed beast Jade, Orochimaru couldn't help showing horror. How is it possible? How could you launch such a powerful ninjutsu? As strong as Orochimaru, he didn't dare to accept this move. He opened his mouth suddenly, and the mandible was completely torn, and then a figure sprang out of the mouth, and quickly flashed into the distance. Big Snake Substitution Technique. It's really a good life-saving skill. Uzumaki Naruto played with taste. It's just this battle, you have no chance of winning. After the words fell, he turned into a golden light and rushed towards Dashawan. Take my trick, meat, egg, onion, chicken. I saw that when Uzumaki Naruto rushed forward, his figure suddenly swelled several times, as if using the technique of doubling. Boom! The moment he hit Orochimaru's body, Orochimaru felt dizzy. Even though his mental power was very strong, he still couldn't resist the dizziness. This is the chicken with eggs and green onion, rewarded by the system. As long as it is hit, it will be forcibly stunned for a second. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the red clothes on Uzumaki Naruto's body split into several tails, and once again tied up Orochimaru. Do you still want to escape with a substitute technique? Admit it, you lost to me. Uzumaki Naruto shouted. 9-tailed boy, I underestimated you. I never thought you would have such a powerful strength. Orochimaru gave up resistance. But he didn't show the slightest fear, he just stared at Naruto with great interest and said, you have such strength, but I have never collected your information. I don't know how you concealed it. What's the purpose? These have nothing to do with you. Uzumaki Naruto snorted coldly, saying that there were too many mistakes, and Orochimaru might have guessed something. Most importantly, he has another concern. The best way for him to defeat Orochimaru right now is to kill people and silence the incident, and today's incident will be over. But Orochimaru looked reassuring, and obviously had a plan to escape. He also remembered that Orochimaru could be reborn from someone else's body through the curse seal. If he fails to kill, he is tantamount to stealing chickens and losing rice. At that time, his true strength is likely to be notified to Danzo by Orochimaru. Just as he was thinking, a system beep suddenly sounded in his mind. It was detected that the host stayed in the Uchiha ruins for an hour, and the check-in was successful, and the reward was rewarded with the second color contact lens Sharingan. After the voice fell, a pair of colored contact lenses appeared in the system backpack. Second 2-color contact lenses Sharingan. After wearing it, you can have the Shueiji Limit Sharingan, which is currently a Hokage, which can be upgraded independently. It was a happy thing to sign in successfully, but looking at Orochimaru in front of him, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't be happier. How can we make Orochimaru never mention this matter? Now he has multiple shadow clone art, meat, eggs, onion, chicken, 9 tails power are all used for fighting. If the kaleidoscope Sharingan is paired with other gods, it can also brainwash Orochimaru, but now it is just an ordinary one Hokage Sharingan which is useless at all. Wait, he still has servant contract. I haven't paid attention to what this thing is for just now, maybe it will come in handy. His hope at this moment can only be pinned on the servant contract. Servant contract. The host can sign a contract with any creature to make it a follower of the host. The follower cannot violate the host's order, increase affinity to the host, and subtly increase loyalty. Signing conditions. To persuade the other party or defeat the other party. Number of signings. There are 10 contracts in this book, which cannot be rewritten after signing. The current number of signings, 10 times. Seeing the introduction of the servant contract, Naruto Uzumaki's eyes flashed brightly. This is good. 10 servant contracts are equivalent to recruiting 10 loyal subordinates. Not only that, but it can also solve the immediate troubles. Everyone who watches Naruto knows a saying, Uncle Snake masters the core technology. Giving Orochimaru a contract quota is beneficial and harmless. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto coughed lightly and said, Oshiwan, do you admit that you lost to me? Although I underestimated, I admit that I lost to you this time. Orochimaru frowned slightly, not understanding why Naruto was obsessed with winning or losing. But in the next moment, he understood. Naruto Uzumaki took out a black book with golden hexagrams on it. When he opened the first page, a golden light emerged from it, covering Orochimaru completely. Naruto couldn't even open his eyes due to the dazzling light. When the golden light faded away, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. He only saw a golden hexagram rising from the foot of Orochimaru, the same as the cover of the black book, and then it hit Orochimaru's heart. Immediately, the light gradually dissipated. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing the servant contract with Orochimaru. What did you do to me? Orochimaru frowned. Since the first battle with Itachi, he felt uneasy for the first time, even more uneasy than Itachi. It's nothing, it's just bringing our relationship closer. Hearing the notification sound in his mind, Naruto Uzumaki finally let go of his hanging heart. He untied Orochimaru, and calmly put away the power of 9 tails. Seeing this, Orochimaru was even more puzzled. Kyuwei boy, let go of the restraint on me, aren't you worried that I will attack you again? It is a big taboo to underestimate the enemy. Really, you can try it. Uzumaki Naruto opened his arms calmly, with a playful look on his face. Humph. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly, and quickly formed seals with his hands. This time, he is going to do it for real. However, after the seal was over, he was surprised to find that he couldn't attack Naruto at all. What's going on here? Am I under an illusion? Orochimaru decisively cut the chakra, which is the best way to break the illusion. It's just that no matter how he cuts off chakra, the surrounding scenes don't change. Isn't it an illusion? Orochimaru's vertical pupils flickered wildly, he had never encountered such a weird thing. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head and said helplessly, okay, don't think about it, this is not an illusion at all, but a contract. Contract. Before Orochimaru could figure it out, Uzumaki Naruto waved his hand and said, sit with me in the room and talk, and I'll tell you slowly. With that said, he turned around and walked back to the empty room just now. Seeing that Naruto's back was full of flaws, Orochimaru decisively chose to attack, but before he could make a move, his body was out of control, and he really obeyed Naruto's words, and obediently followed into the room. What did you do to me? Orochimaru hurriedly asked as soon as he entered the room. From just now to now, what happened to him was too weird. Even if he wanted to think, he couldn't calm down at all. Everything that happened was beyond his cognition. Uzumaki Naruto sat on the tatami and explained calmly, in short, I signed a contract with you just now, and now you can't disobey my order and my will, and you can't harm me. I believe you just felt the same. Arrive. How is this possible? Orochimaru couldn't understand it at all. He had studied so many forbidden techniques, but he had never heard of such techniques. If you still don't believe me, let me prove it again, you start doing backflips on the spot now. Uzumaki Naruto chuckled, he had been frightened for so long just now, and now the farmer turned around and sang, he had long wanted to vent his anger with the Orochimaru. Kid Nine Tails, how can I obey your orders? I can't. Orochimaru said halfway. His body was out of control again, and he did a backflip 720 degrees on the spot. Chapter 11. Naruto-kun, I believe in you. After all kinds of tumbling, even Orochimaru felt ashamed. Facing the situation in front of him, he had to believe Naruto's words. Uzumaki Naruto laughed, and said, you'll be fine if you obediently admitted earlier, why bother to suffer all this? Orochimaru couldn't help but feel ashamed. Who would have thought that there is such a contract of absolute obedience in the world? He has never heard of this kind of technique. Even now, he still doesn't understand what method Naruto used to control him. This alone is far more terrifying than Itachi's illusion. Okay, it's getting late, and I have to return to the main body, otherwise the main body should be in a hurry. You know what happened today, so let's stop here. Naruto Uzumaki said, and he was about to release the shadow clone. What? Is Naruto-kun just a shadow clone? Orochimaru couldn't believe it. The avatar alone was so terrifying, so what terrifying strength should a full-body Naruto have? It's just that he still had a doubt in his heart, so he couldn't help asking, Mr. Naruto, what is your purpose? With such strength at such a young age, he didn't believe that Naruto was willing to spend his days in Konoha, and definitely had a deeper purpose. My purpose? Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback, and began to think in his heart. Traveling to this Naruto world was not his original intention, especially after knowing that he became Naruto, he was full of worries. There are so many villains in this world, all of them disregarding the lives of all beings for their own dreams, and even the Otsutsuki clan from Aliens will appear later, no matter which one is a bug-like existence. And no matter in the previous life or in this life, Naruto has only one purpose, and that is to live well. It's just that in this life, if he wants to live well, he needs to become stronger and become an invincible existence. By the way, when it comes to living well, this is very similar to Orochimaru's ultimate goal. He remembers that one of Orochimaru's ultimate goals is to seek immortality, to achieve physical and spiritual immortality, which is more ambitious than his goal of living well. If it is really researched by Orochimaru, doesn't that mean that he can also obtain the possibility of eternal life? This is too cool. It's just that Orochimaru is only forced by his contract now, and it is very likely that Orochimaru feels that he has become a puppet and does not work hard. Orochimaru must be convinced and recognized from the bottom of his heart, so that he can better study the art of immortality in the future. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto rolled his eyes, and then showed a sad look. Human life is short, life is so fragile, aging and death make people feel empty. Speaking of this, he sneaked a glance at Orochimaru. I saw Orochimaru trembling, and even the vertical pupil fluctuated unwillingly. Seeing the effect, Uzumaki Naruto continued. Therefore, I have only one goal from the beginning to the end. I want to find a way to last forever in this world. Based on this, I will have more time to master everything in the world. Ninjutsu, and then grasp the truth of the world. Naruto-kun's ambition is really great. Orochimaru couldn't help but praise. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Orochimaru itself is this goal, which is a disguised boast. However, he still forcibly held his face, and said melancholy, but this goal is too unrealistic. It is difficult to just seek eternal life. My current goal is to seek eternal life. I will talk about other things later. By the way, Big Snake Maru, what is your goal? My goal. Orochimaru couldn't hide his excitement. My goal is almost the same as Naruto-kun, and I think so too. Such a coincidence, Naruto Uzumaki asked in surprise. Orochimaru nodded heavily. I have participated in the Ninja World War, and I have seen too many lives and deaths before I understand the fragility of life, so I will leave Konoha, seek eternal life, and find the truth in the world. I can't think of Naruto-kun's age. I have already had such a realization so lightly, I am really ashamed. He used to worry about why Naruto had such a magical contract, but now it seems that it should be a new contract developed by Naruto in the process of studying immortality. Although he did not develop such an earth-shattering technique, he has also developed many new ninjutsu over the years, so he can naturally understand Naruto. As a researcher, at this moment, he even felt that Naruto was not so annoying. He only sighed that his skills were not as good as others. It's easy to find fragrant grass in the world, but it's hard to find a friend in the world. I really didn't expect that you would think so. If I had known this, I wouldn't have given you a contract. Uzumaki Naruto said sadly. It's just that I have only researched the contract now, but I haven't researched the method to solve the spell, but don't worry, when I find the method to solve the spell, I will definitely release the contract for you as soon as possible. Hearing this, Orochimaru trembled even more. Naruto-kun has a heart, but now I feel that there is no need for this. Why? This time, it was Naruto Uzumaki's turn to be confused. With Orochimaru's black-bellied personality, it's impossible to be evaded with a few simple words. Could it be that the affinity degree of the servant contract has come into effect? Increase the power of mouth escape. Orochimaru smiled and said, because of this technique, my skills are inferior to others, but Naruto-kun, don't forget, I have been studying ninjutsu. I believe that I can break the contract with my own strength. There is no need for Naruto-kun to worry about it. With this time, why not use it to study the art of immortality? Uzumaki Naruto nodded suddenly, and said seriously, Oshimaru, just based on your words, I have already obtained my approval. Then I will not hide my clumsiness. I also saw some problems in the fight just now. What's the problem? Orochimaru asked nervously. Uzumaki Naruto said. This body does not fit you, it is obviously not your original body. You have made some achievements in researching the art of immortality. It is commendable that you have changed your body through some methods. It is only your spirit. It's very fragile, and there are still many distracting thoughts and resentments that don't belong to you. This should be a side effect of changing your body, you need to pay attention. Naruto-kun can see so much. I thought my technique was flawless, worthy of being Naruto-kun. Orochimaru praised. So many problems can be found after a fight. It seems that Naruto has made some achievements in studying immortality. He couldn't help but bowed and said, since Naruto-kun can point out the problem, is there a solution? There is no solution yet, but I am currently researching ways to improve my spiritual power. Uzumaki Naruto said, you should also be aware that this kind of research will not produce results in a short time. Otherwise, you don't need to call me master, just do research if you need to, and I won't restrict you. Wait for me to research, come up with a solution to the spirit, and I will inform you when the time comes. Hearing this, Orochimaru nodded and said, this is a road that has not been taken before. I thought that I was alone, and I could study it with a genius like Naruto-kun. I believe that this great technique will eventually be successfully studied. Then I will wait for the good news from Naruto-kun, and then I will bring my research results and discuss it with you. I'm looking forward to that day. Uzumaki Naruto laughed from the bottom of his heart. He didn't have a way to improve his spiritual power at all, but with a system, it wasn't too difficult to find a way to improve his spiritual power. Besides, his purpose is to allow Orochimaru to continue to study, and now it is enough for Orochimaru to maintain a research attitude. Okay, it's getting late, I'll go back to the main body first, goodbye. With the goal achieved, he has no worries. After forming a seal with his hands, his figure suddenly turned into a puff of white smoke and disappeared in place. Seeing Naruto disappear, Orochimaru couldn't restore his calm for a long time. It took a long time before I clenched my fists. Naruto-kun, it's a blessing to meet a bosom friend like you, but it's unfortunate for you. After all, I will definitely research the art of immortality first. At this moment, he only has the heart of comparison to be the first to study, as if he has returned to the days when he was just learning ninjutsu. Unbeknownst to him, he was sold by Naruto and happily gave Naruto money. Inside a ramen shop, Uruka, who was wearing a green vest, was feasting. After eating half of it, he realized that there was no movement around him. He turned his head and asked, Naruto, why don't you eat it? Isn't this your favorite miso ramen? I'll eat. Uzumaki Naruto forced a smile, and began to take small bites of noodles. It's not that the face is not fragrant, it's just that he is restless and has no appetite. It has been a long time since Mizuki was dealt with, sent Mizuki to the third Hokage, and then he and Iruka came to Iruka ramen shop to eat ramen to celebrate, but his shadow clone still hasn't come back. If there is an accident, the shadow clone should have been lifted long ago. This feeling of no news made him even more worried. It's just that he just took 2 sips of hot soup, when suddenly, his body shook, and a lot of information flooded into his mind. This is a memory that is both familiar and unfamiliar, and it comes from the shadow clone. Finally back, hearing the notification sound of obtaining Sharingan, Naruto Uzumaki couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. But before he could relax and eat the noodles, that memory was fully unfolded. After seeing the whole process of the shadow clone, he almost choked on the hot soup. Man, this is too exciting. Originally, it was just for the shadow avatar to fish in troubled waters and sign into Sharingan, but the result before him was very gratifying. Not only did he successfully sign in, but he also fooled a big snake pill into being his younger brother. You know, that's one of the 3 ninjas, Orochimaru, who is famous in the ninja world. It really deserves to be his shadow avatar, in a word, awesome. The memory in my mind is like playing a movie, there is nothing better than this. Suck and suck. While watching, he sucked on the ramen, and by the time he finished reading the whole content, he had already eaten 3 bowls of ramen. Teacher Iruka, why don't you eat? Uzumaki Naruto turned to look at Iruka beside him. I eat. Iruka forced a smile. It's not that the noodles are not delicious, it's just that Naruto ate too much, he couldn't help but regret bringing Naruto to eat ramen. He always felt that it would be more cost-effective to take Naruto to a buffet. No words all night, noon the next day. After the graduation exam yesterday, he has no plans for today, so he can sleep in if he has time. After waking up, he washed up and went out to find Inuzuka, and he agreed to provide food for a month, and he had to eat 3 meals a day. I overslept and didn't eat in the morning, so I have to eat twice the meal at noon. Just halfway on the road, he found that many ninjas rushed in the direction of the Uchiha ruins one after another. There is a situation. Uzumaki Naruto decisively changed his route and headed towards the Uchiha ruins. Although it was a shadow clone last night, the battle last night may not have left any crucial evidence. For example, his shadow clone used the power of 9 tails. If chakra hadn't dissipated completely, I'm afraid he would be found. Now go and see the situation. If it is not good for him, he can run away in time. Along the way, he also eavesdropped on the conversations of many ninjas, but each of them was just a few words, but when he arrived outside the Uchiha ruins, he combined these few words and came up with a relatively complete conclusion. There were traces of a battle at the Uchiha ruins last night. According to the traces at the scene, at least it was a Jonin-level battle. It is speculated that a ninja from the outer village broke in. The purpose is unknown, and no one has been caught yet. After learning about these contents, Naruto Uzumaki's suspended heart returned to his stomach. Now he is just a ninja of Muya village, and no real evidence has been found. Even if he is suspected to be a fight in the village, he cannot be suspected. Furthermore, he and Orochimaru are already on the same front. With Orochimaru's many years of experience in performing missions, the key evidence at the scene will definitely be erased. It seems that I am overthinking. Forget it, let's go to Sangfan. Uzumaki Naruto laughed at himself, turned around and went to find Inuzuka. At this moment, there was a scolding sound from Uchiha's main entrance. Little ghost, this is not where you should come, get out. After the voice fell, a figure was thrown out of the gate. Taking a closer look, it was Uchiha Sasuke who was thrown out. Let me in, I know that man must be back, I must kill him, kill him. Sasuke roared. However, the gate was closed, and he wanted to force his way in, but 2 ninjas outside the gate stopped him. Little ghost, the matter has not been investigated clearly, and no one has been caught. If you go in, you will only destroy the clues and delay the investigation. This is not the result you want. You go back now, and when there is news, you can go to Hokage-sama and ask for the result. The ninja in the green vest said lightly. Hearing this, Sasuke trembled and wanted to roar again, but he also knew that the green vest ninja was right. After a long silence, he finally chose to leave first. It's just that when he turned around, his lonely expression instantly became fierce. Naruto, why are you here? Come and see my joke. Sasuke snorted coldly. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head helplessly, turned around and left. Knowing that someone was fighting in the Uchiha ruins, it is understandable for Sasuke to guess that it was Itachi. The only problem is that whenever Sasuke mentions Itachi, he will lose his composure and go crazy and get sick. Naruto doesn't want to be implicated by this crazy guy. Why are you shaking your head, are you underestimating me? Sasuke snorted coldly, and suddenly rushed forward, coming in front of Naruto. It's not enough to shake your head, is it hindering you? Uzumaki Naruto frowned. There is also a limit to getting sick. Like a dog, it is okay to bark and bite when you see people. Sasuke continued to snort coldly. Yesterday, you got number 1 in the graduation assessment, did you start to be arrogant? Just because it's the most basic technique, it doesn't mean that your actual combat ability is better than mine. If you have the guts, dare to fight alone with me. Pick. Hearing this, Naruto understood. He remembered that in the original book, Sasuke had never fought Itachi before, and found out that Naruto's crane tail had become stronger, so he fell ill and went crazy to find Naruto to fight alone. Now because of the fight last night, Sasuke misunderstood Itachi appeared, and Naruto, who was the tail of the crane, also got number 1 in the graduation examination. This is slightly similar to the situation in the original book. Sasuke felt that his strength was too weak, and he was even overtaken by the tail of the crane. How could he defeat Itachi? That's why I'm depressed and want to propose a heads up. It seems that Sasuke did not simply fall ill, but fell seriously ill in advance. However, Uzumaki Naruto will not sympathize with Sasuke like the original book, and he will not have the slightest bit of earnestness and compassion for this kind of illness. As the saying goes, looking for trouble when there is nothing to do, most of them are doing it, and a beating will be fine, only by hitting hard and waking up this second disease as his principle of conduct. Sasuke complained all day long, typically full of food, and thinking about Itachi's hard work as a laborer in the Akatsuki organization. Naruto wanted to beat up this ignorant stinky brother even more. One-on-one, right. I'll take it. On the top of the Huiying Rock, there was a gust of cold wind, and there was a little solemnity in the atmosphere. At this moment, the two teenagers were looking at each other. The yellow-haired boy had a calm expression on his face, while the black-haired boy's face was full of ferociousness. It is Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. Perhaps because of the power of the 9 tails, the 3 beards on Uzumaki Naruto's face have disappeared, and he has become somewhat handsome like Namikaze Minato. The flowing yellow hair is blowing in the wind, showing a chic look. On the other hand, Sasuke's eyes were already occupied by hatred. Brother Stinky, you want to fight one-on-one, don't you go first. Uzumaki Naruto stretched out his right hand, and gently raised his index finger, full of playfulness. Don't underestimate people, I'll let you see how powerful Uchiha is. Sasuke snorted coldly, stepped on his feet, and his figure suddenly disappeared from the spot. In the process of rushing forward, several shurikens shot out, each aiming at Naruto's vitals. It's just a discussion, do you still want to kill me? Uzumaki Naruto narrowed his eyes slightly, his body bowed slightly, and the power of the 9 tails had already penetrated his limbs and bones, filling his body. It's just that his appearance hasn't changed at all, and he doesn't have any 9-tailed form. Now that Uchiha has an accident and Sasuke is causing trouble, the attention of the 3rd generation may focus on this side. If he finds out that he has already used the power of 9 tails, the old guy of the 3rd generation will not stand idly by. What's more, his opponent is only Sasuke. Although the restrained power of the 9 tails is not stronger than the outward release, it is more than enough to deal with Sasuke. Whoosh whoosh, Uzumaki Naruto dodged left and right, easily dodging the shuriken's attack. However, in the next moment, Sasuke had already come in front of him, hitting his face with a punch. Before the hit, the wind of the punch alone made his face sting. This punch should not be underestimated. If he was careless, he would definitely break the bridge of his nose. Meat, eggs, and onion chicken. Uzumaki Naruto let out a low cry, his figure suddenly swelled, especially his stomach doubled, and he slammed into Sasuke. Sasuke hastily retracted his punches, alternated his arms in front of him, and switched from attack to defense. Boom! Accompanied by the impact of Uzumaki Naruto, there was a crashing sound. But before he could show his success, Sasuke in front of him had already turned into a piece of wood. It turned out to be a substitute technique. Naruto Uzumaki was slightly surprised that Sasuke thought of so many things in such a short time. He really is a fighting genius. But where is Sasuke now? Before he could find Sasuke, he heard the sound of piercing the sky behind him. I said, the shuriken doesn't work for me. Uzumaki Naruto turned around and quickly reversed the shuriken's attack. But I don't know if it was his illusion. He always felt that the shuriken thrown by Sasuke just now was not aimed at the vital point, and it could even be said to be a deliberate stroke. What exactly is going on? Sasuke is waterproof. It shouldn't be. Soon, he reacted. There seemed to be something involved in Sasuke's mouth and hands, and a thin line could be seen faintly. This is manipulating a shuriken. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly thought it was bad, and wanted to leave in a flash, but it was already too late. As Sasuke pulled the string, Uzumaki Naruto felt that his body was tightened by the string, and he was instantly tied to a tree trunk. I definitely won this game. Sasuke snorted coldly, and quickly formed seals with his hands in the order of Si Chen Mao Yin. Dragon Fire Technique. Sasuke took a deep breath, and when he exhaled again, flames spewed out from his mouth. The orange flames were extremely hot, entangled in the direction of the thin thread, and quickly approached Naruto. If it hits, either death or injury, the lightest is severe burns. Of course, that's only for ordinary people. For Naruto, it's a piece of cake. A trace of Nine Tails chakra adhered to the surface, without even needing to come out through the body. The ultra-high temperature instantly fused the thin thread, and then, he put away the red chakra on the surface, and disappeared completely in a flash. When he reappeared, he was already behind Sasuke. That's it. A handful of kunai was placed around Sasuke's neck. As long as Sasuke dared to move a little bit, kunai would make Sasuke's blood splatter on the spot. No, I haven't lost yet. Sasuke roared, desperately trying to get his neck cut, but he still wanted to move on. Snapped. Uzumaki Naruto slapped Sasuke's Tianling cover violently. Sasuke felt dizzy, and when his eyes went dark, he passed out completely. When Sasuke regained consciousness again, he was tied to a tree trunk. Let me go, let me go. Sasuke struggled. Let go of you. Even if you lose, is this Uchiha Sasuke? Uzumaki Naruto shook his head, his eyes gradually showing disappointment. A guy like you deserves revenge from Itachi. Hearing this, Sasuke's figure trembled, his eyes turned red instantly, and a black jade circled rapidly in his eyes. You know Itachi, what else do you know? Sasuke growled. It stands to reason that the village's high-level officials blocked the news, and the children didn't know the secrets of the Uchiha clan. How did Naruto know about it? Uzumaki Naruto said lightly, I know a lot, but I won't tell you. Originally, he thought that after a fight, he would teach Sasuke a lesson. But the current Sasuke is too naive, he can't think calmly at all, and it is clear that he is still a child. Even if you tell Sasuke the truth, it won't help Sasuke in the slightest, but it will make Itachi's hard work go to waste. Why didn't you tell me? I'm willing to pay for the information. Sasuke roared. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head. You are not qualified to know everything now, let alone other things. Just talking about this competition, you will fight with your life if you lose to me. You are so weak that it is pitiful. Even if you really find Itachi, so what? To die. Hearing this, Sasuke fell silent. Indeed, he is too weak, so weak that he can't even beat a ninja of the same grade. How can he defeat Itachi? Seeing that Sasuke was lost in thought and began to reflect, Naruto Uzumaki nodded slightly. It seems that Sasuke is not so demented. It is good if he can reflect on the lessons learned. This boy is still teachable. Okay, I'll go have a meal first, and I'll come to you after I finish eating, so you can reflect on it here. As he said, Naruto Uzumaki flashed his figure, and left the mountain and went to Inuzuka Ya's home. On the way to Sengfan, he was picked on by Sasuke, and he is already very hungry now. Fortunately, Inuzuka is very reliable. Seeing Naruto coming, he warmly entertained the meal. After eating a meal for 2 hours, it was considered over. After drinking and eating, Naruto fell asleep again. Sleep. I slept comfortably this time. Naruto Uzumaki stretched his waist and got up satisfied, but soon he found that everything around him was dark. Through the window, he saw that the sky was already full of moon and stars, and suddenly he thought it was bad. It's over, overslept, Sasuke will be okay. Thinking of this, he hurriedly put on his clothes and rushed to the top of the mountain. However, when he reached the top of the mountain, he found that there were only loose ropes left on the trunk, and Sasuke was no longer there. I'm still worried about this guy. It's a waste of emotion. Naruto Uzumaki shook his head helplessly. How could ordinary ropes trap Sasuke? He must have run home long ago. But before he finished thinking, a shuriken stabbed silently at his back. Fortunately, he had quick eyesight and quick hands, and avoided the shuriken's attack. Which stinky and shameless guy is sneaking up on me, a 12-year-old child, really disrespecting martial arts? Who is it? Uzumaki Naruto exerted the power of 9 tails, and his hands quickly formed seals at the speed of Cho Shuchen Zi Shu Hai Si Yin. Bang, 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 accompanied by several streams of white smoke, several shadow clones centered on the main body and began to explore the surroundings. According to the strength just now, the shuriken is not a long-distance throw, and it is not a problem to catch the real murderer. Found. Not long after, a shadow clone called out. The other shadow clones surrounded him in an instant, and the main body Naruto also hurried over there. Through the moonlight, he saw clearly the real culprit who attacked him. Sakura, why is it you? Naruto Uzumaki didn't expect that it would be Haruno Sakura. By the way, he didn't provoke Sakura, why would this guy sneak attack him? By the way, when he first crossed over, he once snatched Sakura's mirror, but that's not worth coming in the middle of the night. How narrow-minded it is to come up with such absurd things. Let go of me. Sakura was captured by the shadow clone, struggling desperately. Ambush me in the middle of the night, and still want me to let you go. You'd better give me a convincing reason. Uzumaki Naruto frowned. Sakura snorted coldly. If you don't let me go, I'll report what you did today to Teacher Iruka. What did I do? Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback, not understanding what Sakura meant. Sakura snorted. Stop pretending, I know that you kidnapped Sasuke and trapped Sasuke in a tree. Just now when Sasuke was confused, he was still calling your name, so don't try to quibble. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto understood. During the day, he and Sasuke talked about the challenge on the street. It is estimated that this news reached Sakura's ears. But even if he understood the cause and effect, he was not prepared to spare Sakura lightly. If it wasn't for his nine tails power and increased physical fitness, the shuriken that sneak attack just now would have definitely injured him. Besides, Sakura knows a thing or two, so why come here to meddle in other people's business? Thinking of this, he waved his hand and said, tie her up and follow me. The shadow clone fetched the rope that tied Sasuke, tied up Sakura Wuhua, and followed the main body. Xiaoying struggled vigorously, her eyes gradually showed a look of panic. What do you want to do to me? If you are sensible, let me go, or my parents won't let you go. Really? Then I'll wait and see. Uzumaki Naruto smiled playfully, and led a group of shadow clones down the mountain, and soon arrived at Sakura's house. Dad, Mom, come and save me. Before Naruto could knock on the door, Sakura called for help. There was a rush of footsteps in the room, and then the door opened, and a middle-aged couple rushed out. The middle-aged man's hair is the pink, pie daxing, and the middle-aged woman's hair is the yellow, peach heart, long hair. They are Sakura's parents Haruno Jiao and Haruno Mebuki. Seeing Sakura being tied up, Haruno Mebuki said anxiously, quickly release my daughter, what can I say? Yes. Uzumaki Naruto snapped his fingers, and the shadow clone untied Sakura. But Sakura, who had just been untied, rushed towards Naruto, and she punched Naruto with her hand. Snapped. Uzumaki Naruto snapped his fingers again, and the shadow clone retied Sakura. I also really want to let go of your daughter, but in the current situation, I think it's better to tie her up first. Uzumaki Naruto spread his hands. Haruno Mebuki was speechless for a moment, looked at Sakura, frowned and said, Shao Sakura, what's going on? Mom, can't you see it? He tied me up, of course I want to beat him up. Sakura snorted. Clap clap clap. Naruto Uzumaki clapped his hands and said with a smack of his tongue, Ms. Haruno, I am here to negotiate. If your daughter is indiscriminate, I don't think there is any need to talk about it. I will hand her over to the third generation. Of course, if you can have a good talk, please tell her to shut up, what do you think? Hearing the third generation, Haruno Mebuki's expression changed, and he said, of course we can have a good talk, Sakura, don't talk from now on. Seeing her mother's sharp eyes, Xiaoying swallowed what she wanted to say. After all, the Haruno family is headed by the mother. Okay, we can talk now, please explain the situation first. Haruno Mebuki said. You'd better say something well-founded, or else you kidnap my daughter without authorization. Even if you go to Hokage-sama, our Haruno family will accompany you. Uzumaki Naruto nodded. Then I'll keep it simple. The thing is like this, your daughter ambushed me in Hokage Rock and even attacked me with a shuriken. If it wasn't for my recent strength improvement, I'm afraid she would have died in your daughter's hands. What do you think about this? Impossible, my daughter would not do such a thing. Haruno Jiao decisively denied. Just halfway through the conversation, she was interrupted by Haruno Mei's snort. She looked at Sakura and frowned. Shao Sakura, is this true? That's not the case at all. I shot him because he kidnapped Sasuke, and he dodged easily, so there was no danger to his life. Sakura argued. Tisk tisk tisk. Uzumaki Naruto sneered coldly. I fought against Sasuke, he lost, he was punished by me, and Sasuke never complained about this matter. Besides, no matter how much things go wrong between the two of us, we will be together again with you. What does it matter? All I know is that I didn't provoke you, but you sneaked up on me without authorization. It's my ability to get out of the way, but if I didn't get out of the way, what would happen? I don't need to say more. Quote. Naruto, you. Sakura wanted to say something else. Sakura, shut up. Haruno Mebuki interrupted. No matter what, it's you meddling in other people's business and almost hurting someone. This is an indisputable fact. Sakura was suddenly at a loss for words and didn't speak anymore. Haruno Mebuki continued. Naruto-kun, I already understand this matter. Can you please let Sakura go first? As for the compensation, we can discuss it later, this matter is our fault. Ms. Haruno is still sensible, but I let her go, I'm afraid she will attack me again. Uzumaki Naruto showed a worried look. Haruno Mebuki said. Don't worry Naruto-kun, she won't be so rude in front of me. Husband, you bring Xiaoying in. Haruno Jiao nodded, and hurriedly brought Sakura back to the room. Outside the door, only Naruto Uzumaki and Mebuki Haruno were left. Naruto-kun, what compensation do you want? Haruno Mebuki spoke first. Uzumaki Naruto rolled his eyes, and said, Miss Haruno is so frank, I won't go around in circles. I know that in your minds, I am the embodiment of evil, but this matter is indeed too much for Shao Sakura to understand. It's already a big taboo to attack people in the same village without authorization, not to mention, Sakura is already a ninja. If it is spread that ninjas harmed their colleagues, I think it will be bad for both reputation and influence. Anyway, Haruno Mebuki is Sakura's mother, so it's definitely inappropriate for him to directly ask for compensation. But as long as Haruno Mebuki knows the harm involved, Haruno Mebuki will surely give enough compensation. At this moment, he is looking forward to how much Haruno Mebuki will give. After thinking for a long time, Haruno Yabuki said, Naruto-kun, why don't you come to my house and be my son-in-law? Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto felt like being struck by lightning, so he couldn't stop talking to death. Well, why did Ms. Haruno say that? He really couldn't figure out Haruno Mebuki's brain circuit. No matter what compensation he offered, it wouldn't be a visit to his son-in-law. Could it be that Haruno Mebuki sees that he is possessed by a real dragon, and he will definitely reach the sky in the future? That's too nonsense. Besides, isn't Haruno Mebuki worried about Anbu's investigation? I've only heard of you before. When I saw you today, I think you are different from the rumors. You should be outstanding among your peers. Haruno Mebuki thought about it. Besides, I also know the character of this child, Sakura. Although she is always smiling, she is a typical person who will not grow up without lessons. This is the first time I have seen her lose her composure. I think, you can take care of her. If you become my son-in-law, it will not only be good to Sakura, but also be your compensation, the best of both worlds. What do you think? This. Uzumaki Naruto was stunned in place. Originally he only wanted to ask for some financial compensation, but he never thought that Haruno Mebuki could see it so thoroughly and wanted to trick him into it. Good guy, it's no wonder Haruno Mebuki is the head of the Haruno family, it's not unreasonable. It's just that his mind is all on making himself stronger, and he has never thought about starting a family. Besides, he has read the original book, and it is obvious that Hinata is his best choice, and apart from the original work, he himself likes girls with Hinata's personality very much. Ms. Haruno, I already have a girl I like, and Sakura likes Sasuke from the bottom of my heart. As the old saying goes, a twisted melon is not sweet, so I don't think I can force it. Naruto Uzumaki resolutely declined the matter. Since that's the case, then I'll think about other compensation. It's getting late, why don't you come tomorrow, and I'll give you the result. Chuno Yabo said. Alright, then I'll go first. Uzumaki Naruto nodded, and quickly left Haruno's house. He had discovered it, and he couldn't deal with Haruno Mebuki at all. Sure enough, a woman's needle in the bottom of her heart would hurt even if she caught it. The thoughts of older women are even more difficult to guess. Seeing Naruto leaving in embarrassment, Haruno Mebuki couldn't help showing a smile. Little guy, you still want to fight my old lady, you are still young. However, twisted melons are not sweet. This sentence has some meaning. Why haven't I heard this old saying before? Haruno Mebuki thought to no avail, turned around and returned to the room, and secretly threw an envelope out the window. On the other side, Uzumaki Naruto did not return home, but rushed to Hokage Rock. Just now Sakura appeared on the top of the mountain. With Sakura's personality, she would definitely take care of Sasuke first. Thinking about it, Sasuke still stayed on the top of the mountain. Just now he left a few shadow clones to search the mountain, one of them unlocked ninjutsu and the memory was sent back accordingly. Indeed, as he expected, Sasuke was on the grass on the top of the mountain, still unconscious. When he arrived, Sasuke was still muttering his name. Naruto, Naruto. Seeing this, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help but help his forehead. Are you calling back souls? Without hesitation, he kicked Sasuke's ass, and Sasuke sat up in pain, instantly sober. Is it already night? Sasuke asked confusedly. Uzumaki Naruto was a little embarrassed. If he hadn't overslept, it wouldn't be night. But he tried to calm down, and said with a straight face, I'll let you reflect, why did you fall asleep? I didn't fall asleep, but I heard the news in the morning and rushed to check the situation, so I didn't eat. Before I knew it, I was hungry and fainted. Sasuke explained. Then let's go eat first. Uzumaki Naruto supported Sasuke and brought him down the mountain. In any case, Sasuke is just a 12-year-old child, and it's normal for him to be hungry all day. It was too late to disturb in Izukaya, so he brought Sasuke to the Ichiraku ramen restaurant. Seeing Sasuke gobbled it up, Uzumaki Naruto asked, You're in a coma. As soon as you're in a coma, why are you calling my name? If it wasn't for this reason, she wouldn't have been targeted by Sakura to find fault. Boss, another bowl. Putting down the empty bowl, Sasuke turned his head to look at Naruto, and said seriously, I thought about it for a day, and I was woken up by you. I know that I am no match for that man now, but I still won't give up. But the ninja school, the teaching is too ordinary and loose, it can't make me stronger at all. I sincerely beg, you can fight with me every day, at least beat you, I will consider finding revenge on that man. Huh, you've been thinking about it for a long time, and you just want me to be your training partner. Uzumaki Naruto was immediately amused. Unexpectedly, he would have a day as a tool man. Why should I promise you? Uzumaki Naruto asked. Sasuke was at a loss for words, he didn't expect this reason. After pondering for a long time, he said seriously, the motivation for me to live is to kill that man. For this, I am willing to dedicate everything. If you promise to be a training partner, I am willing to do anything for you. Even if I surpass you in the future, this promise will not constant. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto laughed. As expected, Sasuke was still a child, so he dared to boast about such a promise casually. However, he is quite satisfied with this attitude. After all, to defeat Kaguya-hime in the future, Sasuke's power will be needed, and it is also in his plan to help Sasuke become stronger. After thinking for a while, he took out the servant's contract and said, There is no evidence for what you say, so how about it, you sign a contract with me, and I will trust you. Contract. Sasuke was puzzled, he had never heard of this word. Uzumaki Naruto explained. Simply put, after you sign the contract with me, you will not be able to disobey my orders in the future. Of course, I will also be your training partner to help you become stronger, and even wait for you to grow to a certain level. I can also tell you the situation of Itachi, how about it? Sasuke was silent, and it took a long time before he opened his mouth to say, You said it too, but there is no basis for what you say, how can I believe that you lied to me? Anyway, you have something to ask of me. What's the matter, do you still want me to help you unconditionally? There is no free lunch in the world. Uzumaki Naruto sneered. If you don't want to, I won't force it, it's a big deal, take 2 shots. He bound Sasuke with a contract, and only asked Sasuke not to betray, which was much better than Orochimaru's conditions. In the original book, Orochimaru's help to Sasuke is not free, relying on the curse seal to control Sasuke, the ultimate goal is to occupy Sasuke's body. If Sasuke still doesn't agree to such a simple condition, then Naruto doesn't need to coach Sasuke to grow up. At worst, if he tries harder to sign in, he will gain absolute strength, destroy Highway and Obito in advance, prevent Kagaya Hime and Madara from appearing, and all problems will be solved. Speaking of this, Sasuke fell silent again. There was a long period of silence this time, and Sasuke didn't make up his mind until Yale Ramen Restaurant made a prototype. Naruto, you were right, there is no free lunch in the world. I have thought it through, and my decision is, I decided to sign the contract, Sasuke said decisively. Naruto couldn't help laughing at that expression of looking at death like home. It was just a contract, and it seemed like he was going to kill someone. Okay, since you have figured it out, let's fight again, Uzumaki Naruto said lightly. Hearing this, Sasuke was puzzled. Why do you want to fight again? My contract has preconditions. The first is that you surrender to me and admit defeat wholeheartedly. The second is to be defeated by me. I don't think you will choose the first condition. Of course, it's a fight. Sasuke nodded, then walked in the direction of Hokage Rock again. After walking a few steps, he found that Naruto was unmoved, and he asked a little puzzled, what's wrong? Uzumaki Naruto chuckled. I think, there is no need to go up the mountain, here is enough. Hurry up and finish the fight, so I can go home and sleep. Are you here? Could it be that you still want me to put water on you? Sasuke frowned slightly. You'll find out soon enough. A playful smile appeared on the corner of Uzumaki Naruto's mouth, and in the next moment, his figure suddenly disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already behind Sasuke. After the confrontation during the day, Sasuke has roughly mastered Naruto's fighting habits, and when his figure disappears, he must appear behind him. So without any hesitation, he took out his shuriken and shot towards the rear, then galloped forward, distanced himself from Naruto behind him. However, just as he stood still, before he even put on a fighting stance, a figure appeared in front of him. It's Naruto with a shuriken. How could you be so fast? Sasuke asked in disbelief. Uzumaki Naruto didn't speak, but secretly mobilized Nine Tails chakra, and his pupils suddenly turned into red vertical pupils. The violent breath enveloped Sasuke in an instant, and the cold and piercing chakra mercilessly penetrated into Sasuke's body. The next moment, Sasuke's body was completely unable to move, and he could only look at Naruto in horror. In his consciousness, he could only see a picture of a flaming giant beast acting recklessly and brutally tearing him apart. The feeling was extremely real, and the eyes of the flaming giant beast were Naruto's crimson eyes, vertical pupil. I will be killed. Sasuke trembled. No, it's just an illusion. He hurriedly mobilized the Sharingan to forcibly interrupt the chakra in his body, but the picture in front of him still did not disappear, and the violent breath was like an invisible big hand, choking his neck tightly, as if he might die at any time. It's not an illusion, so how could this happen? Can it be done with just murderous intent? Sasuke looked at Naruto in horror, and then he knelt on the ground suddenly, throwing up all the ramen he had just eaten. He never thought that fear can make people's physiology uncontrollable. But, after all, Naruto is just a boy of his age, how could he have such a murderous look? He couldn't figure it out, and he couldn't move his body at all. The only thing he could do was the fear that filled his heart more and more. Uzumaki Naruto put the shuriken on Sasuke's neck, playing with taste. Admit defeat now. Before he shot just now, he thought of the battle in the original book when Orochimaru met Sasuke for the first time. At first Orochimaru just glared at Sasuke, and Sasuke lost his ability to move, relying on the murderous aura accumulated by Orochimaru's countless murders. Although he is not murderous, he has Nine Tails chakra. Relying on the violence of Nine Tails itself, he can completely release a cold aura similar to murderous aura. But even Naruto, who performed this trick, did not expect to succeed once, and even scared Sasuke to vomit. The deterrent effect was absolutely perfect. I admit defeat, Sasuke said with difficulty. After the words fell, all the murderous aura on his body disappeared. He only felt his body relax, and after being limp on the ground, he couldn't help but dress roughly. As for the back, it was not known when, it had long been soaked in cold sweat. This time, he lost even worse. Even just being oppressed by Naruto's aura, he was already powerless to fight back. Very good, you can sign the contract if you admit defeat. Naruto Uzumaki took out the black book of the golden hexagram, which was the contract of the servant. He turned to the second page, followed by a flash of golden light, which completely enveloped Sasuke. This time, relying on the power of 9 tails, he could barely see the process clearly. The dazzling light is composed of countless obscure runes, and the runes keep shrinking and imprinted in Sasuke's body. After all the runes were hidden, a golden hexagram similar to the servant's contract appeared under Sasuke's feet. With the golden hexagram imprinted on Sasuke's heart, the whole process is considered to be over. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing the servant contract with Sasuke. Hearing the notification sound in his mind, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help laughing and said, "Okay, from now on, you are my follower, and you can find me to practice with you in the future, and I will accompany you at any time. It's getting late, I'll go back first go to sleep." After speaking, he turned and disappeared from Sasuke's sight. It's just that Sasuke was still out of strength, struggling for a long time and didn't get up. Even now, he still hasn't gotten out of the fear of the flaming giant beast. Who the hell is Naruto? Sasuke fell into deep thought. He already understood at this moment that Naruto is definitely not an ordinary boy. But after thinking for a long time, Sasuke didn't come to a deeper conclusion. Forget it, anyway, the stronger Naruto is, the better he will practice for me. As for the others, I don't need to worry about it. After finally regaining some strength, Sasuke staggered back home. Silent night, the next morning. He wasn't too tired yesterday, and he had a big nap in the afternoon, so Naruto Uzumaki wasn't too sleepy, so he got up early. Of course, it's also related to what's hidden in his heart. After dressing and washing, he came to Haruno's house early. As the saying goes, debt collection must be done in a timely manner. After the statute of limitations, there will inevitably be a lot of trouble when you go to collect debts. This is the lesson he summed up in his previous life. It's just that Haruno Mebuki's request for a door-to-door son-in-law last night really frightened him. Now that he came to Haruno's house, he still felt a little nervous. Feeling anxious, he knocked on the door of Haruno's house. Not long after, the door opened, and Haruno Yabuki, who was wearing a bright red dress, walked out, and greeted him with a smile. "Naruto, you are here." Uzumaki Naruto nodded ignorantly, not sure what Haruno Mebuki was going to do this time. He had no choice but to politely say, "Ms. Chunye is really festively dressed today. Is there any happy event?" "Of course there is a happy event, come in quickly," Haruno Mebuki said with a smile, and welcomed Naruto into the room. "That's disturbing," Uzumaki Naruto responded and followed the other party in, but his eyes were looking around. "I saw a lot of red decorations and stickers throughout the house, all of which were brand new, obviously recently put on. It seems that the Haruno family has a big happy event." But when he walked into the living room and saw the welcome message posted on the wall, he was instantly stunned. "Miss Haruno, what do you mean?" "Of course it's literally." Haruno Mebuki blinked and said. "Gouda." Naruto Uzumaki swallowed with difficulty, looking at the welcome words. He didn't know how to speak for a while. Welcome the new member of the Haruno family, Naruto Uzumaki. Sure enough, he couldn't understand Haruno Mebuki's thoughts at all. "I wanted him to be my son-in-law last night, but I want him to be my son today." This is forcibly integrating him into Haruno's house. By the way, Haruno Mebuki is not worried about Onbi. Please drink tea. Or should we join forces to do things together? Could it be that his recent changes were too prominent and he was targeted by that old Danzo? Haruno Mebuki is Anbu's undercover agent monitoring him. "Ms. Haruno, I just want to pay compensation, so it shouldn't be like this." Naruto Uzumaki wiped his nose, not wanting to get involved with the Haruno family. Haruno Mebuki explained. "Naruto-kun, Sakura was ignorant and almost killed you by mistake. Zhao and I thought about it for a long time and decided to adopt you. This is to compensate for the loss to you. Mr. Naruto, we have also learned a lot about your situation through the streets and alleys. Your life seems to be not good. Joining our Haruno family will definitely improve your quality of life." Haruno Zhao echoed. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto fell into deep thought. Although he still doesn't know the real purpose of the Haruno family, but for him, joining the Haruno family is indeed beneficial and harmless. in the future, there is no need to worry about 3 meals a day, and you can concentrate more on your own affairs. You can join, but I have 2 conditions. Naruto Uzumaki thought. Haruno Mebuki suddenly showed joy. What conditions do you have? Uzumaki Naruto thought about it. First, I can't change my name, I still want to be called Uzumaki Naruto. Second, although Sakura is a few months older than me, I want to be an older brother. It's not difficult to call Haruno and his wife parents. After all, they live here and they will be his parents in the future. It doesn't matter what they are called, but his body was given by Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, so he can't forget his origin. As for wanting to be Sakura's brother, he didn't want to be overwhelmed by Sakura at all, otherwise, he didn't even want to have anything to do with Sakura. In his eyes, Sakura is a troublemaker and she is involved in countless troubles. These 2 conditions are fine. I can make the decision. Besides, are there any other conditions? Haruno Mebuki asked. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head. These 2 promises are enough. But I still have a doubt, why do you insist on letting me join this family? Haruno Mebuki sighed and said, Xiaoying is very well behaved in front of us, but her father and I both know that she still has a rebellious mentality in her bones, especially recently, we found that the generation gap with her is getting bigger and bigger, and he is less and less open to us. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly said, do you want me to communicate more with Sakura on your behalf, so as to prevent her from going astray? As expected of Naruto-kun, you know everything, and I like to talk to smart people like you. Haruno Mebuki laughed. It's just that adding an extra pair of bowls and chopsticks and letting him take care of Sakura, Haruno Mebuki is really a good planner. Uzumaki Naruto felt a little upset, and couldn't help but said, if this is the case, I'm sorry I can't agree to this matter. I'm not afraid of you thinking too much, I really don't like Sakura's temper, if you force me to communicate, my way may be different. More stringent. Of course it can make Sakura grow up, but surely you will feel distressed. Don't feel bad, just let Sakura grow up. Haruno Mebuki said without hesitation. Then, I agree. Uzumaki Naruto never expected that Haruno Mebuki would be so forthright, but with Haruno Mebuki's command arrow, it would not be a problem to deal with Sakura in the future. Coming to the Haruno family to be an uncle seems to be a good idea. Just as he was thinking, a system prompt sounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host for staying at Haruno's house for an hour, successfully clocking in, and rewarding the magic trick Narukumi. Immediately afterwards, a memory about this technique rushed into his mind, deeply branded, as if he was born to use this technique. What kind of illusion is this? It was a surprise to be able to successfully sign in here, but Naruto Uzumaki didn't have much impression of this illusion. Open the system panel and introduce this technique in detail. Narukushi's art of seeing. Let the opponent see the horrible scene that they don't want to see. In the original book, Kakashi used this technique to cause Sakura to faint. This is interesting. Uzumaki Naruto laughed in his heart. With this technique, dealing with Sakura couldn't be easier. Wait, the system check-in seems to have some rules. He couldn't help but start thinking. You can get meat egg and scallion chicken from Eel Ramen, multiple shadow clone art from Naruto Rock, transformation art from School Sign-In, Sharingan from Uchiha Ruins, and Sharingan from Haruno House. The art of Naraku seeing. In this way, the rewards obtained for signing in at different locations are related to them. So, to get Eye of Reincarnation, do you still need to go to Shao Organization? Reminder. To correct the host's guess, if you want to obtain the Eyes of Reincarnation, to be precise, you must go to the Akatsuki Organization to find the hiding place of Nagato's body. Uzumaki Naruto was completely dumbfounded. The Akatsuki Organization alone is full of dangers, not to mention the hiding place of Nagato's body. Ever since Nagato was disabled and unable to walk, he didn't need to think too much, and knew that the main body was in a very safe place. Even many members of the Akatsuki Organization don't know the existence of Nagato's main body. It is estimated that only Conan will know for sure. Besides, even if you find the location of the main body, it is wishful thinking to go in. As long as you are not a fool, you will definitely let people protect you. Nagato has the 6 paths of pain, and under normal circumstances, he will at least ensure that he has one or even more pain around him all year round. Could it be that he is destined to miss the samsara eye? Shaking his head vigorously, Naruto Uzumaki decisively put this trouble behind him. As the saying goes, there must be a way for a car to reach the mountain. It is too early to think so far. Right now, he pays more attention to Sakura. He couldn't help laughing when he thought of Sakura's jumping feet in anger when she knew about the misfortune at home. Naruto, breakfast is ready. On the first day you enter this house, I will entrust you with the task of waking Sakura up. Haruno Mebuki brought breakfast to the dining table and showed Naruto a playful smile. Ah, I'll go. This is not good. After all, men and women can't kiss each other. Are you really relieved? Uzumaki Naruto asked doubtfully. Haruno Mebuki laughed and said, in name, you are already my son, so it's normal to call your sister. Besides, if you and Sakura really break through the brother-sister relationship, I don't mind letting you be the door-to-door son-in-law. In short, we will be a family from now on. But Naruto, you have to remember that you are still underage, and if you want to get married, you have to wait until you are of legal age. Haruno Jiao echoed from the side. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto was even more speechless. It seems that this couple is not very reliable. By the way, are you really Sakura's biological parents? No matter how Naruto complained, Haruno Mebuki forcibly gave him the task of getting up. Going up the stairs to the second floor, there is a door with 3 big characters, Haruno Sakura, clearly written on it. Walking to the front of the room, Uzumaki Naruto knocked on the door, but there was no response for a long time. Xiaoying was sleeping like hell. Go in and call her, don't waste time, breakfast will be cold later. Haruno Mebuki's voice came from downstairs. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto was speechless. At this moment, he completely confirmed that Sakura was really picked up. After all, how can parents not cherish their children so much? He also saw the purpose of Haruno Mebuki clearly, and clearly wanted something to happen between him and Sakura. However, he also discovered the clue. Logically speaking, he is Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, how could he be easily adopted, and the higher-ups wouldn't mistake Haruno's family as spies from other villages. After all, Renjuli is a vital killing weapon for every village. Or did the Haruno couple receive special orders and instructions from the village's senior officials? That old guy in Danzo seems to be able to do such a crazy thing. Of course, it's also possible that he was just thinking too much. But in any case, these high-level ideas are not related to his safety, so he takes it as a wake-up call, and it is better to be careful in the future and beware of the Haruno couple. Thinking of this, he wanted to quickly improve his own strength. Only when one's own strength is strong can one have more voice. In the face of absolute power, all conspiracies are just jokes. After making up his mind, he pushed the door handle and walked into Sakura's room. Boom! Uzumaki Naruto only felt a roar in his brain, and a strong fragrance came to his nostrils. Is this the girl's boudoir? It's too fragrant. Although he lived for more than 20 years in his previous life, this is the first time he entered a girl's boudoir in 2 lifetimes. I couldn't help but feel a little bit of anxiety and nervousness, as well as a little bit of anticipation. To be honest, no matter whether he hates Sakura or not, he cannot deny the fact that Sakura is really good looking, especially at the age of 12 years old, with a height of 150 centimeters, she is full of Lolita. Thinking that it is reasonable for me to break into Loli's boudoir now, the joy and excitement in my heart are simply indescribable. Looking around, there is a neatly arranged wooden bookshelf on the left-hand side of the door, and a full-length mirror next to the window. There is a round clock on the mirror. On the right-hand side is a pink wardrobe. There was a person lying on the big pink bed at the moment. Soon, however, he lost interest. I only heard Sakura muttering, "Sasuke, I like you so much." Naruto, what a big fool. Looking at Sakura on the bed again, when Sasuke was mentioned, she clamped the quilt firmly, smiling all over her face. When Naruto was mentioned, he hammered the quilt vigorously, as if the quilt had a grudge against her. Sure enough, Sakura is Sakura, I can't like it at all. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head. The secret joy and excitement just now, also because of this scene, completely cooled down as if cold water had been poured on it. Striding to the side of the bed, he threw off the quilt and pulled Xiaoying, who was wearing white pajamas, up. Get up quickly. No, I'm sorry, Xiaoying said coquettishly, but she woke up suddenly in the middle of her words. This voice is. She sat up in a hurry, and saw a face that she hated the most. Naruto, why are you at my house? No, why are you in my room? Get out. Sakura hurriedly pulled the quilt to cover herself. Uzumaki Naruto snatched the quilt and explained, I just talked with your parents. I have officially moved into Haruno's house. Now, I am your elder brother. I don't believe it. You lied to me. You sneaked in just to get revenge on what happened to me yesterday. I warn you, get out now, or you will die when my parents find out. Xiao Ying shouted. Seeing Sakura's extremely vigilant look, Naruto Uzumaki shook his head, let go of the quilt, turned and left. Seeing this, Sakura let out a long sigh of relief. But in the next moment, Uzumaki Naruto yelled downstairs, Mom, my task is completed, Sakura is up, she barks more happily than the watchdog of our ninja school, status thief good. As expected of my son, you did a good job, thank you for your hard work, come down to eat quickly. Okay, Uzumaki Naruto responded and quickly went downstairs. Only Xiao Ying was left stunned on the bed. She was sure that she heard correctly, it was her mother Haruno Mebuki who answered the question just now. But, why did her mother call Naruto her son? What is going on? She didn't have time to change, so she rushed downstairs in her pajamas. I saw the Haruno couple and Naruto having breakfast, talking and laughing, like a family of three. Who can tell me what's going on? Sakura asked puzzled. Haruno Mebuki glanced at Sakura, frowned and said, Shao Sakura, hurry up and tidy up, look at your appearance, you don't feel ashamed if you don't comb your hair or wash your face. She turned her head to look at Naruto, with a smile on her face. As expected of my son, he woke up Sakura so easily. I have been ignoring her procrastination. It seems that this important task will be handed over to you in the future. Gone. Ah, I don't want it. She didn't know what she dreamed just now. She not only talked nonsense and scolded me, but also compared the quilt to me, as if she was going to kill me. Uzumaki Naruto resolutely refused. Haruno Mebuki sighed and said, anyway, she is also your younger sister. As an older brother, you still have to be considerate. Saying that, she glanced at Xiao Ying again, frowned and said, hurry up and wash up, why are you standing there, you are not allowed to eat until you clean up. Sakura couldn't get in the conversation at all, and after being said a few words, she could only go to wash up first. Hearing the sound of washing water, Haruno Mebuki lowered his voice and said, Naruto, do you think this trick is really effective? Uzumaki Naruto nodded. Don't worry, there is an extra brother for no reason, you are still so kind to me, she must be jealous, in order to prove to you, she will also behave well. Of course, she will not let me go. Thank you, Naruto. Haruno Mebuki apologized. Uzumaki Naruto waved his hand and said, it's okay, I happen to learn an illusion, and I'm short of test subjects. If she wants to trouble me, I will definitely make her suffer, I don't know you. Before he finished speaking, Haruno Mebuki said decisively, as long as it doesn't threaten your life, you can do it with confidence. I support you. Yes, I support it too. Haruno Jiao echoed. With your support, I will do it freely. Naruto Uzumaki finished his last bite, got up and ran to the bathroom, he didn't want to wait another second. Upstairs just now, Sakura actually wanted to hit him in her dream, this thinking must be changed, and she must be taught a lesson. As far as family status is concerned, he still has to take it seriously. Opening the door of the bathroom, before Sakura could complain, he mobilized his chakra and started to seal. Maybe because he wanted revenge too much, he was so fast that he even created an afterimage. When the hand seal gesture was fixed at Yin, he only heard a low voice. The art of seeing Naruto. The leaves all over the sky rustled, brushing past Sakura's face, blocking her view. When she opened her eyes again, Naruto was no longer there. She was still standing in front of the sink, brushing her teeth. What happened just now? What did Naruto do to me? Sakura couldn't figure out why. However, when she finished washing her face and looked up in the mirror, she saw not only her own figure reflected in the mirror, but also Sasuke. Sasuke, why are you at my house? Sakura turned around in surprise, only to find that Sasuke was leaning against the wall, slowly sliding down, the blood all over his body was like a fountain, flowing out unstoppably. Sakura, Save me, Sasuke said on the verge of death. He stretched out his hand to grab something, but he fell to the ground weakly, completely out of breath. Sasuke, Sakura screamed, rolled her eyes and fainted on the spot. Of course, all this is only from Sakura's perspective. In Uzumaki Naruto's perspective, he never left. When he finished performing the Narukumi technique, he heard Sakura screaming, and then passed out. Hearing the word Sasuke, combined with Sakura's reaction after the operation in the original book, he can more or less guess the general situation. Sure enough, what Sakura feared the most was seeing Sasuke die. It seems that if you want to subdue Sakura completely, you have to start with Sasuke. Thinking of this, he returned to the living room, packed his things and prepared to go out. Naruto, what happened to Sakura just now? Haruno Mizuki asked worriedly. Uzumaki Naruto explained. It's okay, it's just my illusion. My illusion can make her see the most feared thing in her heart. She can grow faster if she experiences such pain a few more times. Haruno Yabuki nodded. I'm relieved this way, then remember to come back early when you go out, and dinner will be served at 12 noon. It is good, Uzumaki Naruto responded and left Haruno's house. When he came to Hokage Rock, Sasuke was already sweating profusely. Looking at the shurikens on the surrounding trees, he must have been waiting here for a long time and had already started training independently. Naruto is very satisfied with being so diligent and motivated. I'll take a break and start the battle later, Sasuke said first. Uzumaki Naruto shook his head helplessly. Will the enemy attack you when you are ready? As soon as these words came out, Sasuke was stunned. Uzumaki Naruto didn't care about Sasuke's thoughts. He stepped on his feet, and his figure suddenly rushed forward. With the nine tails chakra merged into his right fist, he swung his fist and hit Sasuke's chest directly. When Sasuke reacted, he was unable to dodge, so he had to block the punch with both arms. Boom! Accompanied by a roar, Sasuke flew upside down for several meters, and slammed heavily on a tree trunk, spurting out a mouthful of blood. When he slipped and fell to the ground, he was already depressed. Uzumaki Naruto didn't stop what he was doing, and was still quickly forming seals. The art of seeing Naruto. With a low shout, Sasuke's eyes fell into a state of absence. Seeing this, Naruto let out a long sigh of relief. He thought of Sasuke just now when he saw Sakura's scream after the surgery. One of the conditions for Uchiha's Sharingan to be upgraded is that under extreme emotions, it can be extreme anger or extreme sadness. Naraku seeing technique can make people see the scene that they fear the most and least want to see. For Sasuke, either the Uchiha was wiped out, or it was seeing Itachi, no matter which one was enough to stimulate Sasuke. By defeating Sasuke in the battle, Sasuke will not be able to use Sharingan, and the success rate of Narakujian technique will be greatly improved. Now that Sasuke has got the technique, Naruto is looking forward to the result. If this method is really feasible, then he can also use this technique to upgrade his Sharingan. After some anticipation, he finally waited for Sasuke's scream. Success or failure is here. Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fists nervously. But after waiting for a long time, he didn't get the result. When he went to check, he found that Sasuke had passed out. Hey, wake up, he patted Sasuke on the face. After patting for a while, Sasuke woke up slowly, and then he arched his body and said vigilantly, "Where's that man?" Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto was not surprised at all. Sure enough, Sasuke was most afraid of Itachi. He said helplessly, "Don't look for it, there is no one else here, I used illusion just now. Don't talk about this, you use Sharingan quickly, and I will see the result." Sasuke breathed a sigh of relief, and then opened Sharingan. His black pupils instantly turned scarlet, and two Guyu were slowly circulating in them. Shwanguyu Sharingan, it's done. Sensing his own changes, Sasuke was also quite excited. Naruto, choosing to follow you is really the right choice, and I have improved so soon. How about you use illusion on me again? I'm also thinking about it. Uzumaki Naruto chuckled, and then quickly formed seals with both hands, and performed the Narukumi technique again. However, after a while, Sasuke's eyes regained clarity. How do you feel? Uzumaki Naruto asked impatiently. It's not working this time. It may be that my pupil technique has improved, and I can see through it at a glance that it's an illusion, and it doesn't work for me. Sasuke shook his head. This, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help being a little disappointed. He was still thinking about the card bug, so he was directly promoted to Sangyu Sharingan, but he didn't expect that Sharingan was the biggest bug. As one of the 3 major pupil techniques, Sharingan will make a qualitative leap every time it is upgraded. It seems that he still underestimated Sharingan. However, he is not discouraged. Sharingan is so powerful, which is also a good thing for him. What's more, it's easy to pull eggs when you take a big step. After cheering himself up, he patted Sasuke on the shoulder and said, "Don't be discouraged, my ninjutsu is only AD level genjutsu. When I learn a higher level genjutsu, it might still work." That's right, Sasuke nodded, stepping out of his grief. In a short period of time, he has improved by leaps and bounds, and he is actually very satisfied. Then what shall we train next? Sasuke subconsciously asked. At this moment, he already understood that following Naruto has meat to eat, and listening to Naruto's words, he can improve his strength faster, which is much better than him working hard. As the Uchiha clan, you have to give full play to your strengths and always keep in mind that Sharingan is your strongest ability. I heard from Mr. Iruka that this class of graduates will be divided into several in a few days. The team will be led by other Jonin. Take advantage of these few days. You first master Shwanguyu's Sharingan. Next, I will teach you the technique of Narakumi. Naruto Uzumaki explained. Sasuke was a little puzzled. It's no problem to master Sharingan, but why do you want to learn this D-level illusion? It seems useless. It's useless to you, but it's useful to me, Uzumaki Naruto said. Does it work for you? Sasuke was even more confused, but he soon understood Naruto's intentions. Naruto Uzumaki took out his colored contact lenses and put them on. When he opened his eyes again, the bright blue pupils had turned into scarlet. Sasuke couldn't help but widen his eyes when he saw Guyu floating around. How is it possible? You also have Sharingan. Tell me, where did your Sharingan come from? Sasuke narrowed his eyes slightly, and the double Guyu rotated in his eyes. All his people were dead, and only Itachi survived. Naruto possessing Sharingan must be desecrating his deceased clan, which is disrespectful. He will never tolerate Naruto's behavior. It's just that there is still a little luck in his heart, and he hopes that Naruto will admit that the truth is not what he thinks, otherwise even if Naruto helps him grow, he will kill Naruto. Are you stupid? Uchiha's Sharingan is the boundary of blood succession. The eyes of your people are all black pupils. Can't you see my Kazulin's big blue eyes? Mine are decorations. Saying that, Naruto Uzumaki took off one of the contact lenses. Seeing the translucent colored contact lenses on Naruto's hands, Sasuke was stunned. It turns out that they are really decorations. I haven't seen them before. No, that's not the point. Since you don't have Sharingan, why do you say that illusion is useful to you? What's the meaning? My colored contact lenses are quite miraculous. They have the same effect as Uchiha. If I want to upgrade, I also follow your method. Do you understand what I mean? Naruto Uzumaki explained. Hearing this, Sasuke nodded suddenly, and Sharingan also turned into black pupils again. If there is no doubt, I will start teaching you the art of seeing Naraku. It is good. In a flash, half an hour passed by in a hurry. As expected of Sharingan, one of the 3 major pupil arts, he has a strong ability to learn and gain insights. At this moment, Sasuke has completely mastered the essentials. So shall I start? Sasuke asked. Let's start. Naruto Uzumaki took a deep breath, feeling uneasy. In the city in his previous life, he had watched too many horror movies, and he was worried that he would be brought into horror movies by illusion. Even if he knew it was fake, those bloody ghosts would scare him half to death. The art of seeing Naruto. Accompanied by Sasuke forming the yin seal, Uzumaki Naruto felt his world spinning, and when he stood still again, he was no longer in front of Hokage Rock, but a place full of wreaths and full of oppressive atmosphere. Is this a morning hall? Is the horror movie the last thing I want to see? Your uncles. Uzumaki Naruto thought about the memories in his mind. There were so many horror movies about morning halls, he really couldn't guess where a ghost would pop out. Boom! The door of the morning hall opened, and a large group of men and women dressed in black walked in. Phew, it's great to have so many people, Wait, these are all ghosts, right? Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help feeling nervous. If they are all ghosts, then it is really far from the big picture. In the next moment, his apprehension turned into surprise. He saw that the two people at the front of the line were his parents in the previous life. It is rare to see his parents. Even if he turns into a ghost, he can still hold his heart. But what puzzled him was that his parents' faces hadn't changed, but their hair had turned gray. What's going on? He walked quickly in front of his parents, but his parents seemed to be unable to see him, and continued to walk through his body until they entered the morning hall, and they knelt on the ground suddenly, tears falling down. Seeing this, Naruto was even more puzzled. Who died to make their parents so sad? Walking along the Lingtai, he saw a black and white photo on the stage, in which was a young man with a bright smile. It's not someone else, it's him from the previous life. So, are you here to see me off? Uzumaki Naruto said lonely, feeling a little uncomfortable in his heart. Hey, Lao Han and his wife are really hard pressed. They finally raised their son and died just like that. That's right. Some time ago, Lao Han said that he would be able to hold his grandson soon, and he looked radiant. Unexpectedly, his son left, and his hair turned gray overnight. The white-haired man is giving away the black-haired man. How will this old couple live in the future? Quote. The crowd standing behind his parents, some comforted and some sighed. Hearing these words, and looking at the white-headed parents, Naruto's heart felt like a needle prick, and he was in great pain. Dad, Mom, look at me, I'm not dead yet, I'm alive and well. Naruto kept shouting, but no matter how much he shouted, even if his voice became hoarse, his parents couldn't hear his voice. Not only that, but the picture in front of him gradually blurred until it dissipated. The illusion was over. Naruto stood where he was, and fell helplessly to the ground. Yes, he was afraid of horror movies, but the last thing he wanted to see was the scene where his parents sent him away. Even if he knew it was an illusion, even if he knew it was fake, he didn't dare to think about it. Because, the real situation is very likely to be so sad. Naruto, what's wrong with you? Sasuke rushed forward to help Naruto up. Naruto wanted to open his mouth to speak, but the sadness in his heart flowed like a river. He only felt a big stone stuck in his chest. This kind of complicated mood was beyond words, and he fainted on the spot without even saying a word. After an unknown amount of time, he slowly woke up. It's getting dark. At this moment, he was lying in a strange room with a round fan symbolizing the Uchiha clan emblem printed on the wall. Naruto, are you awake? A surprised voice came, and Sasuke came in with a bowl of hot soup. Seeing the yellowing of the bottom of the bowl, you know that Sasuke has been heated several times. How do you feel? Sasuke chuckled. He had experienced the power of this technique, and now Naruto has also fainted for a day. He couldn't help gloating. But Naruto, uncharacteristically, did not answer. He was silent for a long time before he stood up and said, "You have already opened the double Go Jade Sharingan. You should master it well in the next few days. I won't practice with you for the time being." Not practicing anymore. Then what are you going to do? Sasuke asked, puzzled. Naruto said lightly, "You don't need to ask about this, don't worry, I'm fine." After speaking, he dragged his tired body, left Sasuke's apartment, and returned to his den. For several days, he lay down at home, silent. Until one day, a reminder sounded in his mind. Reminder: the host has not checked in for many days, and the energy value of the system is about to be exhausted. Please complete the check-in as soon as possible. Hearing this, he sat up abruptly, his eyes sparkling even more. He is not alone in time travel, he still has a system. He hurriedly asked, "System, is there a way for me to return to my previous life? Even if I don't stay for a long time, let me say goodbye." He was sluggish for several days, just because he cared about his parents in his previous life. In his heart, even if he died, he had to have an explanation, so he was worthy of the kindness of nurturing him for many years. The host currently has insufficient authority to jump time and space, but the host does not need to worry, you are here for soul exchange. Hearing this, Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback. Soul swap. Doesn't that mean that he didn't die from drinking coke at all, but swapped his soul with the original Naruto? In this way, the body of the previous life did not die, but the original Naruto took his place. He hurriedly asked the system for confirmation, and the reply he got was yes. It made me worry for nothing for so many days. Uzumaki Naruto got up and went to wash up, ready to go out for a big meal. As for his previous life, he didn't worry at all. Although it was only the young Naruto who passed through, and he would mess up a lot of things, but anyway, his parents in the previous life would not send a white-haired person to a black-haired person, which can make the parents of the previous life feel at ease. He will be satisfied and will not ask for anything extravagant. It was only when he saw himself in the mirror after washing that he realized that he hadn't taken off his contact lenses. When he looked closely at his eyes again, he couldn't help but froze in place. At this moment, what is circulating in the scarlet is no longer a jade or two jade, but I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.